Welcome to Good Ads Matter, Roundtable 2026. 2 years ago, Good Ads Matter brought to Indian advertising something that has never been done before, a roundtable of the industry's best under one roof. And today, we are back with the top 1% of this industry's advertising producers who bring creative vision to life unlike any other, who turn words into magic on screen, and surprisingly, happen to have a solution for everything. Come on, so let's do what we do best. Please, let's keep this discussion free-flowing, let's have fun, and as Mr. Karanjor says, let's have your answers full of fire. This year's conversations are supported by Invideo, who are shaping how stories are made in an AI-enabled creative world. And now, let's meet everyone here. Across the table is Ganesh Pareek. Ganesh Pareek is a partner and executive producer at First December Films. He has produced some of Indian advertising's most celebrated work, including Nike's Make Every Yard Count, one of my personal favorites, the country's most awarded commercial globally. As well as he's widely recognized for campaigns like Beauty Tips by Reshma. His portfolio spans brands such as Thumbs Up, KFC, Google Pixel, Levi's, and Book My Show. Alongside producing, Ganesh also directs. His short film Manu is currently on the festival circuit, earning recognition in India and internationally. Well, an experience that brings narrative rigor and storytelling sensibility to his commercial work. Welcome, Ganesh.
Thank you.
We move on to his left, Mr. Varun Shah. Varun Shah is the managing partner of Publicis Production India. He spearheads both Publicis Group's specialist production verticals, Prodigious and Content Factory, along with brand-led production solutions in India. As far as I know, that is also the richest production house in the country.
For sure.
Damn straight.
Under his astute leadership, Publicis Production has grown to be the biggest content creation agency delivering future-ready marketing solutions, where AI, creativity, and agility converge to drive meaningful brand impact. It boasts of an unbeatable roster of international and Indian directors and capabilities to deliver full-spectrum technology-led solutions at scale. He has produced some of the country's most celebrated branded work, including Airtel's 175 Replayed, which won a Gold Lion at Cannes. He is also a national award recipient for his film Water Baby. Congrats on that, Varun, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We move on to Zulekha Gupta. Zulekha is a producer at Sun City Studios, known for her forte in sharp humor and pop culture-driven storytelling. After producing at Bang Bang Media Corp and Prodigious, where both her bosses are on either side, ex-bosses, along with Rahul Bharti, she has built Sun City into a go-to studio for quirky, performance-led films, working with brands like Make My Trip, Vadilal, Lenskart, Dr. Agarwal's, Wildstone, and Firebolt. Welcome, Zulekha.
Thank you.
We move to Rupak Saluja. Might I say, one of the most good-looking men at this table. Yeah? Hemant, second now. Rupak Saluja is the founder and executive chairman of Bang Bang Media Corp, which he set up in 2006. That was way before I joined this industry and closer to when I was born. Bang Bang's work has been consistently recognized in industry awards, both in India and internationally, and Rupak has been featured multiple times on Impact's Digital Power 100, Campaign India's A-List, and Campaign Asia Pacific's 40 Under 40. I'm guessing you're not under 40 right now.
While ago.
He has also served on the juries of most industry awards in India and globally. Under his leadership, Bang Bang has produced memorable campaigns for the likes of Google, Netflix, Meta, IKEA, and even a music video for Coldplay. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I have.
We have him for the
All of us
weekend.
have.
Yes, all of us have.
He is currently leading Bang Bang's entry into the long-form content space with a diverse slate of feature film, series, and documentary projects across Mumbai, LA, and London. Welcome, Rupak.
Thank you.
We move to Anupama Ahluwalia. Anupama is the co-founder and executive producer of ZigZag Films. She began her journey at White Light before moving to FCB Ulka and Interface to lead films and production, and later went on to head films at JWT. In her last agency stint, she served as Executive Vice President Films at Mullen Lowe Linters, and in 2018 she co-founded ZigZag Films, and since then has produced some of India's most recognizable campaigns for brands such as PhonePe, Swiggy, Make My Trip, Kurkure, Sprite, Myntra, and Samsung. Welcome, Anupama.
Thank you.
Hemant. Hemant Bhandari is the co-founder, director, and executive producer at Chrome Pictures, a producer known for crafting strong, culturally resonant brand stories. His recent campaign for Quaker Oats, The Bowl of Growth, won a Spikes Asia Gold and was one of the most awarded campaigns at the Good Ads Matter Awards 2025, picking up multiple wins across categories. Hemant has produced notable work for brands such as WhatsApp, Adani Asian Paints, Alpenlibe and Cadbury Dairy Milk, amongst many others. Welcome, Hemant. We move to Kashif. Kashif Menon is the founder, director, and executive producer of Mothership Productions, which he set up in 2011 after stints at MTV and Rediff. His work has been widely recognized at the Good Ads Matter Awards 2025 with gold wins for Walk Talk, Franklin Templeton, and Stay Free. I must tell you that while everybody likes Walk Talk quite a lot, and I love it too, one of my other favorite ads from last year was Franklin Templeton.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
As both director and producer, he's delivered standout campaigns for brands like Walk Talk, Netflix, Tata Neu, Spotify, Wildstone, Geo Cinema, and McDonald's. Welcome, Kashif. And lastly, we have Ramya. Ramya Rao is the executive producer at Oink Films, where she has been shaping some of the company's most impactful work over the last decade. With over 15 years of experience in advertising production and earlier stints at Foot Candles and Nirvana Films, she brings deep creative and production expertise to every project. A feminist and an animal advocate, Ramya has led campaigns for brands like De Beers, IKEA, Facebook, PepsiCo, and Bumble, many of which have been recognized with various awards along the way. And I can vouch for the fact that she is an animal advocate. I don't know how many of you guys have been to her office. It is such a lovely place to go to meet all those cats and dogs. Yeah. And every time, like in our WhatsApp groups, when there is a cat or a dog
That
looking
means, yeah.
for a home, Ramya is one of the first people we call, and she's, I think, famous in the Bombay circuit for that. So welcome, Ramya.
Thank
and
you.
good on you on that.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
That was difficult. And I am done talking more or less. Okay, so welcome, guys. And we'll keep this as free-flowing as possible. But just to begin with, right, I'll just tell you a little bit of an anecdote about me. Like, I don't know how many of you guys know Indrashish Mukherjee. So Indrashish and me used to work together in Lintas, Bangalore. Yeah. And, when we were coming from Bangalore and, we used to come to shoot films, we used to be here for this was the pre-COVID days, so there was nothing done online and everything. We used to be here for 10 days, sitting in a guest house or a hotel and, coming. We used to bloody go for sound slaps also, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to know each other, right? You get to know the producer, you get to know the post-production guy, you get to know the director. And we always thought it was us, right? Us as in the agency and the production house against the client, right? And then Indrashish joined. He became a director, he became a producer. He became a director and he started making some nice films. And, I met him for a drink after he started directing and I was still in the agency side, like I still am. And he told me, dude, there's something very interesting. Do you know who's the client for the production house? And I said, the client, right? And he said, no, man. From this side, the client for the production house is the agency. And it broke my heart. Like, I just was wondering, like, why is it like that? So with that in mind, I would like to ask Ganesh the first question. Who do you think is the client for you on set, even today?
For me, client is, agency.
That's really breaking my heart even now. Okay, who amongst you guys thinks that the agency is not the client and the client is still the client? Or is this genuinely a thing in the production circuit?
I think largely it is. There are some exceptions where the client is truly the client, but in most cases, at least for me, and I'm sure it resonates with everyone, the agency is the client.
I think it really depends on how much the agency wants to do that project.
You are coming from a different point of view.
No, it's not that. I'm just saying, and all of us have seen it, right? We've all done larger projects where the client is really the agency and they have that vested. But sometimes the agency wants to do the project more than the client does. And that is when you find those moments of partnership that really shine. And that's turned around. But otherwise, mainly the agency now, right? I think it just turned around. That conversation was, there were fewer producers and fewer agency teams that were really doing a lot of work, and now it's far wider than it is, and it's difficult to have that relationship and that trust and that bond between an agency, creative and a production house that you used to have back in the day, right? If you took any of us 10 years ago, we probably knew everyone that was there.
Yeah.
Take us today, we don't.
Yeah.
Also, I would say, who hires us is agency. So for us, our client is agency. And we also take up a job not just based on the client, but also see who's the agency, who's the creative, who's, you know, for us, because we just know how to make the film, right? We expect you to do the client talk. We do the film talk with you, with agency. I mean, when I say you. So it is more like, so we are more comfortable and we prefer agency being there than directly handling client, because client understands a different world of, you know, to explain the process. I think agency helps us. So we always look at agency as our client, and any problem, even if client is talking to us, we route it through the agency, right? So we ask agency to help us out in this situation. So for us, client is always the agency.
Yeah,
So
but
far for me,
there's
it has
better
always been.
camaraderie with the agency, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're more closer to them, but in your head, of course, you know that they are still your clients, and then there is the bigger client. You know?
Yeah.
So you have a better rapport with your agency partners, but eventually, you have to pass that hurdle. You do look at them like clients, and then you have the larger client that you have to sort of cater to.
No, so I get that. My question, let's say then, is how can that relationship right now, that is in where the agency is the client, right? How can that turn into a partnership? Like, what do you think agencies get wrong or creative directors get wrong in this relationship, in the way they come to the table? Like, I know a constant gripe by most directors, right, is the duration is never the duration, right? No agency creative director, at least most of them, if they're writing a 20-seconder, they're not writing a 20-seconder actually. And then it becomes the director's headache and the producer's headache, right? So tell me, Anupama, I'll go to you actually. So tell me, what can agency creative directors and agency account management people do to turn this relationship into a partnership and not to make this where you are our client and we are here to listen to you, and let's say we are only here to just make sure you're happy. Why can't this turn into a partnership where we can put what we want on the table also, and we can tell you, you know what, this doesn't work? What can happen there to
So
get
I
that?
don't necessarily think that treating the agency or considering the agency as a client is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think it sets some boundaries of respect and, respect for what you bring to the table and what we bring to the table. So I don't necessarily consider it a bad thing. Having said that, I think the one thing that I would want more from my agency is to be more accessible to us and to be more understanding of our constraints when we take it to them. It could be duration is a very small part of it, but sometimes there are so many logistical constraints, timelines being one, costs being one, So when we take it to them, I expect them, or I would want them to be more considerate and more, receptive to our problems, which I find is not the case currently. Okay. In fact, sometimes I find clients to be far more receptive to that than agencies. And I think agencies are taking on too much pressure of, voicing the client or, their responsibilities on account of clients. And that's what's impacting it. If they chilled out and if they behaved as they did earlier, where, there was a partnership both ways with the clients and with the production house, I think it'll all be much, much better.
I think just to add to that, and this is a conversation that, funnily enough, Adarsh, I think you and I have had a couple of weeks ago on a shoot, and the irony is that I'm talking after Anupama as far as this goes. I think in India, one of the things that we suffer from, and I'm comparing to other markets in the world, is the lack of the agency producer. And why I say Anu is because before she came onto our side, she was perhaps the most competent agency producer in the country, right? And it really made a difference to the process. When you have somebody who is mitigating both sides, the concerns of everyone, being the only conduit of communication between the agency and the production company or the production house, rather than creatives and servicing and everyone talking, their job is to hold it all together and balance it all and to do what's in the best interest of the project, which also means protecting the production house as well as protecting the agency and the client's interests. So that's something that's fundamentally lacking in the ecosystem overall. We get by, we get done, but it would just be a lot smoother if that function were developed. The problem is that not enough has been put in terms of glory, focus, training, compensation, etc. for that function.
I agree on that, and it
So
pains me.
I was an agency producer for about 6-7 years at Rediffusion, and it really helped.
Sorry, Kashif was also good.
Yeah, and I met and Rupak was as well at some point, I believe.
I was servicing
Servicing,
Ogilvy Paris.
okay, yeah. But I think that little perspective when you're on that side and then you come over on the side, it really helps also, you know. As far as agency producers go, you know, they need to be people of caliber. They need to understand what's happening on this side. Otherwise, they're just
But I tend to
glorified
agree with Rupak
servicing.
that not enough has been done to develop. In fact, that function has been done away
Yeah,
with
it's-
entirely.
Many
It's
agencies
almost-
don't have that
axed
post
from most
anymore.
agencies.
Yeah.
And
No,
servicing
otherwise
end
it's
up
just a
there.
nominal coordination post now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, back in the day, the agency producer
Yeah,
was by your side.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
he or she fought, they spoke up for you
Yeah.
when it was needed. They had a voice in the room. Suddenly, they don't have a voice. And my other point is like, our point of entry has changed. If you look at it, more back in the day again, an idea came, they came and said, hey, listen, Rupak, do you have a director who has a solution? Or listen, I'm going to jam with you on this, right? I don't think we jam enough with how much we are creating. You've already taken that route down by a month and you're already now rushing to timeline to deliver. There's no time to jam.
That's it. Timeline.
And so if you take point of entry and timeline and you bring that, that's the reality of where the industry is gone. And that's actually where I would say we've stressed upon and lost that camaraderie and connection.
See, one solve I think I have, I can talk about myself. If we somehow make director cut, final cut, we will have great relationship.
Well said.
I agree. Just make the director's cut within that duration. That's all. Then we'll sell it.
With some zones around it, we will have a great relationship. Basically.
Okay, so with that, I think it's a nice segue into one of the topics I wanted to discuss today, and a few of you guys have had experiences with them. Is the agency-run production house, right? Where agencies have developed production capabilities internally. I can see.
Everyone's looking at me.
I can see.
I'm hearing
Oh, of course, you're there. You're there, but I'm saying for whatever it's worth, at Tilt we have a agency-run production house also, right? Let's say, what are the advantages that you think an agency-run production house has for the, obviously, put yourself in the shoes of the agency, and what are the disadvantages that you think that, they don't realize that they're operating with? What is the advantage of having a production setup which is, let's say, it's separating church and state, right? Which is outside, and you go get the correct person for the job, whether it's a freelance person or whether it is a person who, let's say, Hemant has got an Amit, right? But just, I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So I had a conversation recently with an agency-owned production company that approached one of our directors who is exclusive to us for a specific client. He told them that he's exclusive, and so I decided to pick up the phone on the CCO and spoke to him to say, listen, there are three possibilities. Possibility A, this is the kind of client which will not allow agency-owned production company to pitch for this. And number two, you're allowed to pitch for it, but others are also allowed to pitch for it. It's an open bid, 3-bid, proper transparent process. And number three is it's automatically going to you guys. Which one is it? He said it's number three. So I said, okay, thanks for being honest. And then we moved on. But I'm saying that it really depends. I think that it works well in certain cases. And I feel like there is room for that. And there is a reason in terms of efficiencies and certain kind of clients in terms of certain collaterals, etc., where you build up an understanding of brand in terms of processes, in terms of, approvals. But I think in the long run, it's probably unhealthy to have everything concentrated just with an agency-owned production company. I think there's room for both. So if I were a client, I would see where I'm getting my optimization, because I'm sure you're getting, especially clients who have large advertising budgets and have like hundreds of thousands of collaterals a year. There is room for that. But then you also want to bring in other talent. And that happens if you look at it. So for example, for a Ryan who will not work with agency-owned production companies, they'll come to us. But for everything else, where they can get other directors, they'll do it. So I think it's a balance. I can see why they do it, but I don't think it's healthy in the long run to do everything in that way.
Anupama, you've got experience on both sides.
Well,
mean-
I think it's not a bad thing. Maybe I'm being repetitive about this, but I think it's here to stay, and we should make peace with it. And like Rupak said, if it's an honest, transparent process of the best bid and the best man for the best person for the job, it should be fine. I mean, we have been sustained by the ecosystem of agencies and clients for so long. I think it's fine for us to help sustain that part of the ecosystem where an agency leans on its own production capabilities or builds its own production capabilities to kind of, get more of revenue or get more of expertise and everything. So I don't consider that, I'm not envious of it, but I just do feel that the process should be more transparent and honest. And I want to ask the clients that, because at one point I remember I wanted to build an agency production house for many, many years before I used to run it for Ulka. But I went to a few cost controllers and procurement people and met them, and they said, oh no, we cannot give you any job because, it's conflict of interest. And I said, what's the conflict of interest? I'm coming to you as a production house. And they said, no, but all the profit is going back into the agency. We are already paying them their commission. So I don't know where that process got diluted or lost. So I think now clients don't view it as a conflict of interest anymore.
I mean, some of them still do. At least some of the procurements, at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
that we know.
they
I mean,
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Of course they do. Meaning, for a lot of it, meaning a lot of y'all work with publicists. So I just want to say that it's very clear that there's work enough for everyone, like Rupak said, right? I've been on the other side. I worked at Equinox. Then I've set up my own production company called Love and Faith. I ran it for 7 years. I was founding member at ASAP. Then went on to set up work and set up Dharma 2.0. And then came here, right? And if I look back and think, why did I come? I think I just came, I didn't think I was going to be part of an agency production house. I've studied film, right? And this is on the back of doing a feature film, working in features before that, then winning a national award, and then saying, "ठीक है, जाके agency run production house," right? I think I just came here for two things, which is hunger, because I felt a production house was limiting what I could do, right? It gave me exposure to far more. And I think it challenged me in ways that I was feeling fulfilled at that point. And then it said, okay, you can do this, right? So I felt there's a world more than TV commercials out there. And can I build that ecosystem? I still remember a conversation with an agency client servicing lead from Ogilvy. And I said, I want to build a collective of producers where there's so much producers can share, right? I've gone on Ramya's set recently, and I've learned something from that set and come back and told my team, listen, this is how I think we should do it. So I just feel that there's so much to learn from producers itself in the way we produce, because all of us, there's no one formula other than okay, equipment leke aa gaya and that's fine, but our approaches are so unique. And then I said, how do I create that collective? And this is what gave me that opportunity. 2019, and that was a time when Prodigious didn't have the reputation it probably does today, right? And that was the journey that I kicked off, and I said, okay, that's the chance I'm going to take. We're three people. It was me and two others. Zoos worked with us, and we've changed that conversation, right? We're 80 people today. We set up a whole full-fledged post-production studio. Clients who are working with us are also seeing that there is more than the TVC that you need to deliver. And how are you going to deliver, and who's going to deliver? Who's going to ensure that that creative craft excitement continues in that conversation? You need a custodian there. That custodian is me, right? So that's how
so you feel that being closer to, let's say, the creative process helps in that way?
Of course, it gives me that one opportunity that I miss the most, is that creative collaboration when I sit outside, right? Meaning, Airtel 175 wouldn't have been possible without that. Oreo cookie history in the baking, the packs, just for the reason that we showed that is the packs were designed by my team. The cookie mold was designed by an artist that we brought on board.
Got it.
And that's production to me as well.
Totally agree.
But I'm so sorry. I have worked with Bang Bang, that's an independent production company. I have worked with the agency owned production company at Prodigious. There's no difference when it comes to how you show up for work. There really, as a producer, at least I didn't feel it.
So the proximity, maybe it helps, but if you have a great equation with a creative, doesn't matter if he's a floor below or a call away. So it really doesn't matter.
I think it's trust, right? How do you build trust? And this is the opportunity to build trust. It just gives me that excitement, right? I go and there's some interesting thing to do and I'm challenged, and then you're saying, okay, you'll deliver. I think all of us as producers feel the same thing. You know, after a certain point, you're working on projects and it feels the same. How do you break that threshold? This gives me that opportunity.
Got it. Ganesh, you
So
want
see, for me, when this started whole, we didn't know how this works. So some agency in-house, they called us. So I went through some insecurity. Okay, first of all, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're asking me, your director will do this. We are not getting it. So, and more insecurity, maybe we don't have career here also. Because they make you feel insecure, give your director, call director. And my directors are like, what to do, like how this works, this industry. Then over the period, I questioned how we reached here. Like people who found me, agency people, they are my competitor in the same pitch. I questioned myself. Then eventually we understood, of course, we are kind of headache also for a lot of small projects because we are very meticulous about it. Over the period, I realized they are very good at those other projects where we are less interested as people who are invested in our production. So realize the problem fault is with me. So you shouldn't give away too much power to somebody else. So we took the ownership and kept working on craft, and now it coexists. I like them. Same time this year I'm pitching with them, and there's a clear interaction with other people also. They also call us and ask how you work and all off the chart, like not when you're competing. But it is much more secure. But it started with a question first few years back. Why same person who found me, I was trusting so much them. Oh, they discovered. Oh, they're giving us work. Oh, we have to find more bank accounts. They're giving us money, basically. and now suddenly you realize little bit. So they're, of course, they have to build their brand. Because they have to build brand agency, there's less headache. Their main goal is brand, and that's why we exist. So that was kind of ownership solved the problem. You working on your craft. That's why I started doing my experimental. What you can bring unique as a combination, for that they can come, and how you can scale it with other directors also. They will just come for that experience which you can control, like in your set, in your process. That we can do because independent can run lot of thing as experiment which corporates cannot run. I use psychology around my whole production. Everybody knows. I did everybody's psychological profile. Work around the nervous system. Not this is the rule. This is unique to me, basically. Now this became a thing which I started realizing, oh, this is working over the period. Now this became thing people calling, acha, this is interesting, let's discuss the idea.
I get what you're saying. See, you touched upon something interesting, and because the quietest person on this table is Hemant right now. Just you will get this question.
Okay.
And
My God.
Ramya, you're the second quietest, so you can add to this. See, what are tips for agency-run production houses and agencies in general, according to you, to aid the transparency? Like, give me examples of where agencies have gotten it wrong. You know, smaller things. It doesn't need to be criminal.
Don't steal my directors.
No, I
stole Shisha?
I personally, when they started production houses within the agency, I didn't had any problem. I don't think, someone new is opening a production house, agency is opening a production house. I don't have any problem. I have problem when they are not delivering quality, but that is not anyone of me to judge, the clients have to judge. If your budget is 10 rupees, if you're getting a quality of 12 rupees, and do you want to go for that, or you are getting a quality of 2 rupees? You are going for that again and again. And when you see, as an outsider, when you see that, you're like, something is going wrong. Because, as a production house, I cannot deliver a quality of 2 rupee for 10 rupee job. I have to deliver not 12, I have to deliver 20, maybe more. So when that happens, maybe that is the notion we all have, that something is going wrong. So the competition is good. But when favoritism happens, because you can see that, in this much money, you can deliver better. 100%, and as production houses, and I think we all have spoken again and again, time and again, that, as an individual production house, we all are there to deliver the best, because that is the job which will get us more. So I don't have any problem. Production houses, as many production houses can open, whether agencies or whoever. But quality should be there. But again, we are no one to do anything about that because clients are spending money. I can sit here and crib about it. What are they doing? Clients has to see. That's it.
No, but I've been on the agency production side of it. My experience has been different from Varun's in that sense. I always felt that the agency production house was not treated at par with the external production house by the creative people themselves. They always felt that you're not going to bring value to my work, whereas an external director or production house, because their eye is not on the profit, they're going to add more value. They're going to work harder to add more value to my project. Whereas your focus is going to be on making profit for the agency, so your focus may not be adding value to my project. So I face that a lot.
But
when
I
I'm trying-
to that I would say, see, it happens with all the production houses. See, whenever people in my team come and they say, there's no money, I say, see, listen, our job is to deliver. If we deliver, be it 1 rupee, 2 rupee, whatever, crore rupees, if we deliver, your focus should not change. There will be problems around it. Like people will question. People will question his decisions, but if he ultimately delivers, and which is appreciated by the crowd, not just by the client, because see, we all are happy within that circle.
Yeah.
I'm making a commercial for X brand and the brand is happy, the agencies are happy, but suddenly outside everybody is cribbing about it. What the
But even for them, I'm sure it wasn't like that. I think what Varun
No,
was
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Even in the beginning,
I
it wasn't like
started,
that.
it was
Prodigious's reputation was
as long as
different.
it's appreciated by the people, See, I personally feel that, everyone's job is questioned. Are you delivering? And any new production, any new director, maybe the servicing person will say, I don't trust this guy. You guys are going ahead with it. I don't trust this guy. Maybe they can go wrong, and every job they will question, but maybe the person will deliver. We all have grown like that.
Yeah.
We were not when we started Chrome Pictures. We were not Chrome Pictures. No, we were just a new company. We were starting, and maybe someone saw something in our job, and they said, "Who's this person? Yeah, call them." So I think it applies to everyone. Whoever is delivering will move forward. Whoever is not delivering, they will do business. But if the clients are okay with it, it will keep happening.
I think
My
Hemant,
only
go on.
problem with agency-led production houses when I'm pitching as an outsider, I expect it, as you said, sometimes it's favoritism. You're just taking a quote from me, a treatment note from me, while you've already decided it'll go to an agency-led production house. That, I would, that's why now I've started asking, is Prodigious pitching? Then I will think whether I want to pitch or not. As long as it's fair, no problem. Let
Yeah,
the best person win the job.
Correct.
I'm
Guys,
absolutely
I just
fine
want to say
with it.
there's a lot of work
Yeah.
that I've lost probably to
Yeah,
all of
that
y'all.
goes I know.
I know.
So I just want to say there's no favoritism, because in fact over time, like, yes, initially exactly what you said and you hit the nail on the head, is that you're expected to deliver.
Yeah.
And I don't think till I did Airtel, which was 3 years into my job, anyone noticed and said, हाँ, Prodigious अच्छा काम कर सकता है. Right, and that is the first time when Airtel happened. Then suddenly they realize, हाँ ठीक है, they're not doing it the way we think they're doing. They're probably doing it the way we are doing.
No, but I want to know, how fair is it if I'm pitching and Prodigious is pitching, and who gets selected? Is it only on
saying-
merit?
I just said,
Is it
that
only on merit?
all of y'all have won jobs against me.
Okay.
There's so many jobs Hemant's won against me, and I can literally say, okay, Chrome won
So Varun,
this.
on that point, no. So I have a little bit of an opinion because we struggled with it at Tilt also, right? I mean, everyone has a right to business. So we also started a production house.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We just hired a producer. We said, "Arey yaar, produce karte hain." And we got better for some years. Like when somebody quit, another producer came in. We again started figuring out. So we never did it at scale, right? But for the first 5 years, the moment we knew that if there are 3 quotes required on the table, right, we should not pitch, because we understood the conflict of interest. Simply put, because our producers had a little more information than other producers did, or they got it faster, right? That account management person is talking to that person saying, "Yaar, asli budget na X hai."
But others, there are production houses also who get that information. Na? When I've run my own production house, if a agency wants to work with you, or a client or a creative wants to work with you, you have that information way ahead of time.
No, see, I'm saying I
Not-
don't think
not
there
as-
is-
not as
but you're in a
obvious
better
being
position.
right.
I don't think there is a debate.
presumption.
I think
Sorry, one at a time.
I personally feel that there should not be any debate about, and I believe in that, whether they are getting favoritism or not. They know how much favoritism they are getting, not just him, I'm saying any production house of the agency. We all know business, we know how to do it. And whether you can control it, you can't control it. Never. We can keep chatting about it, it will never be controlled. I'm saying the only way you can get a job is deliver.
Right? I just want to.
I think so. No, I was just going to say. I think it's not one size fits all. I would believe Varun when he says that it's not the case with them because there's been an incident at Publicis where somebody very senior was fired for that kind of lack of transparency and this kind of double dealing or whatever, right? So I believe him when he says that they've probably put serious Chinese walls and all of that in place because they can't function without that. At the same time, and now I can take names because the agency doesn't even exist anymore, JWT and Small Fry, I mean, it was open book. We knew that it was happening. I don't know if any of you guys pitched for JWT jobs against Small Fry. It always went to Small Fry. And
When was this?
Guys, I worked with Kashif
for-
on a job right now.
I would say 2017, 18.
Yeah, we were
Mothership,
talking about it. Yeah.
Mothership is the production house. I'm not the production house, right? In an agency ecosystem, which is why I said that we are elevating what we are delivering on production. It's not about the team. He's done the film. He's the production house. I've done the other stuff around the campaign, and this is for Gania Basi, which won at Cannes.
Yeah,
Right?
great campaign.
Right. And that came out of the idea at some point stemmed out of the agency along with my production transformation team. Right. So we've created these solutions where we're saying, okay, go with whoever you prefer. You want to go with ZigZag, please go with ZigZag Films. They are the right. There are times I have gone and told creative directors कि नहीं नहीं ये correct है. Hemant's Chrome's pitch lower than me delivered a better film. I've gone and said हाँ ये बहुत अच्छा किया. I've gone and said I'm envious कि ये कैसे किया.
I think it most affects like people like us where we don't have a in-house director just yet.
Yeah, because that was my next question,
Yeah,
right?
so
Because
what then happens is that I'm scouting talent and people are coming meeting me and I'm sort of discovering younger directors or directors that are lost in time or things like that and trying to hook them up with a job, get them a good script, get them a good film, do that, it gets delivered well. And then once they are noticed a little because they are not exclusively with me, then all eyes on them and then those guys get sort of called or asked for by such in-house production companies. So that gets a little tricky from my perspective, if you get what I'm
it
saying.
feels like you nurtured the plant and then
And
suddenly
then it
it's
sort
giving
of,
fruit
yeah.
on someone else's garden, right?
Correct. So I mean, it's minor. Of course, I totally agree with what Hemant is saying. Eventually, it's about putting out good work, and that always gets noticed. But yeah, I mean, that's that little sort of speed breaker, because I'm just like, hey man, like I've worked to sort of find this person. I thought they're right for this job, and it did work out, or it won something, or whatever. And then that kind of like offshoots in ways that you don't really want it to. So yeah.
But if you go back to what Hemant said, right? Last year, if you heard what Cyrus said, he said there are 70 production houses in ASAP, 700 production houses out there. Take out an agency-owned production house out of this equation for 2 minutes. 700 production houses are thriving on the same set of freelance directors.
Yeah.
They are not thriving on 700 directors out there.
No, you're right. And I think that is actually, if you just project forward in time, because as you said, Adarsh, everyone has the right to business and agencies are under a lot of pressure as well and margins are shrinking, etc. So it's obvious, vertical integration, downstream integration is a normal thing in any business. So whether it is Publicis production or now the big new beast in the room, Omnicom production.
Yeah.
I think the market for independent production companies like us, anyway the market has shrunk a little bit because of AI or whatever, right? But the market for independent production companies like us has shrunk anecdotally, I'd say like 25-30% in the past year. Right. So we're competing. So the last bastion of defense, the only bastion of defense, is your directorial talent, because no great director wants to work at an agency. But that may also change. If you've succeeded in doing what you've done, you may succeed in doing that also, right? So that's what we're holding on to. And obviously there are a lot of director-owned production companies, but I think that getting that exclusive talent is really the only bastion of
I think
defense.
next time when we are saying ki, instead of pointing to Varun, we should be pointing to camera. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, or maybe to Adarsh.
Very good.
Others not so much.
And do a kyonki saas bhi kahi thi kind of cut. You are
Turn.
Sorry, this can be cut away from this, but this is while I have you guys here, I'll tell you we are far smaller than Prodigious. What we do at Tilt, and because I am friends with a lot of you guys here and people outside, both Sriram and me decided long time back that boss, there is a conflict of interest here, and we didn't know how to get rid of it. Right, that same producer, we do her appraisal at the end of the year, saying why aren't you producing enough, and she's saying why aren't you giving me enough. Same that Anupama's thing point, right? Like as creative people, we feel, are freelance director hi layega na, if the person, like they are, as Kashif said, right, there are very few freelance directors who are,
Feel
he is
passionately, yeah.
watering the plant and we are bearing the fruit. So my hands are bloodied. But at the same time, what we do, first 5 years we didn't pitch, and then we realized, yeah, a lot of a lot of clients have procurement and stuff like that. When we pitch against another production house, we record a production brief and send an unlisted YouTube link. So it's a creative director telling what is the film in their head. They present the film and they say, "Arey yaar, मेरे को all India film चाहिए, या मेरे को इसमें music बहुत important है, या जो भी, like whatever the first conversation with the director usually is, right? We record that 5-6 minute long video. We send it to all 3 directors, and we wait for the production person to make the cost, send it to the client directly. It doesn't come to the agency, and we tell the client our preference, right? Also, at the same time, we also can't look like idiots where we are constantly telling the client the preference is the in-house production person, right? In-house director. So this is the way we do it. I know one example that you said, getting a third party on board could be a way, and this is still possible at our scale. I get it, Varun. It won't be possible
But
at yours.
tell me one thing. So sometimes, when a lot of time it happened, we don't know what is the scope of work. Director goes overboard. But we don't let quality suffer as an independent producer.
Right.
We fill the gap from somewhere. Is it same happen on that side? Because our legs are shaking if film goes off. We are somehow wired that
See,
way.
I would
basically.
argue, and I'm the moderator, guys. You're asking too
But
many
I'm just
questions.
saying ulta, right? I think there's more skin in the game and more responsibility, because if I
lose the client.
once
Yeah.
the client
Right.
client will never work with the agency and trust the agency. So I in fact have the responsibility not only of myself but the agency to deliver.
So
Yeah.
that is the little dichotomy there, right? You've got more skin in the game because the same people on this side.
But at the same time, you have 5 more people to cajole and control.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
We only
of course,
have in between
I'm never going to
some
say
servicing head.
no, right? Because, but that's coming on the back, and I just look at it. I go back. I always keep going back. I said that, how did I run my production house? I think the best schooling that I ever had was Equinox and working with Chumanto. And when he used to direct, yes, we had costs and Manoj did whatever he did, but when he used to direct, right? And if the cost goes up, the cost goes up, because what you need to deliver is what you need to deliver. And that's the ethos I brought back to. And then when I went to Love and Faith, Milind was new. He had just left Equinox. We set up, it was like fresh on the oven. All we knew is that, okay, and that time we were directing with, he was directing a couple of films for Aggie. And I knew all I had was to deliver a film, because then people are going to come back. I'm saying it's the same thing.
To Hemant's point, right?
No,
Yeah.
so but
It's the
Varun,
work.
in agency, in your thing, if the money is lost, you pay from your personal bank balance or company pays?
That's
That
a
is
good question.
That is the difference I'm talking about, basically.
Do you have the agency,
This is the right
pun
time to break.
intended, do you have the agency to lose money?
That's a fair question.
No, that's a great question. I'm
Firstly,
jealous
guys,
I didn't ask it.
I just want to say, the agency financial ecosystem and mine are two completely different.
But are you allowed to lose money? Like, I know that as a producer, to make our name, when we first,
We've
the
lost
biggest
money.
job, we lost money to get
We've
lots of
lost
time.
money.
We lost too much
We've lost
money.
money.
But are you
It's
allowed,
not-
what happens if you lose money?
See, at the end, the perspective, again, going back, the perspective of the last 7 years I've built is that the P&L ultimately matters, right? What I deliver, not on the job, but on the bottom.
No, what I mean is if on job A, let's say you're going to lose 5, can you say I can lose 10 lakhs on this because I'll make it up on job C?
No, I can't roll over, right? The financial compliance doesn't allow me to roll over. But I can lose money on a project and I say, I lost money on this project and that project will go negative balance. That does not impact. I can't roll it and say, ठीक है, वहाँ पे adjust कर लेंगे. I don't have that opportunity, right? And there are just perspective. I have a commercial controller. I have 9 accountants. I have 3 audits a year, including internal compliance, looking at everything. We have a 12-step audit process that every producer, and including
tedious.
she'll tell you.
Zulekha is speaking with pain.
Very
It is because they
Very tedious,
yeah,
guys.
it is, and that is what we've done to come out absolutely clean and ensure that, listen, guys, we're running it as a production company that would be outside. Yes, we have publicists written at us, and that's the advantage, but it's also the disadvantage, right? And then we are delivering.
I completely get it. And in fact, let's move on from this topic because otherwise, हम लोग को कोई गिल करके balance sheet
Next
फिर suddenly मेरा balance sheet भी आ जाएगा. So the next question that I have, and this one, while we can have theoretical questions, theoretical answers about it, I would love it if there are some nice examples. Don't take names. Don't worry. If you take name also, we'll
I will
edit
not
it
tell
out.
that episode then.
We'll edit it out. Okay.
They beep it out.
Yeah.
They beep it out.
There is a word that should be beeped now in all your lives, which is procurement. Right? Tell us some stories about procurement. Yeah. I mean, from our vantage, like, whenever agencies deal with procurement or whatever, we hear some of the horror stories of negotiation. Some of, for instance, there's a procurement person who, after he's negotiated, and I will not take the name, after he's negotiated, he's come on set and knocked on the wood to just check कि यार जो तू बोला था पैसा खर्च कर रहा है wood पे, wood का quality क्या है, ये तो plywood लगाया तूने. Like he's literally asked that. So have you guys have had like fun experiences with procurement like this? Anyone?
Procurement has never come on set. I'm surprised because they don't even know what camera these days cost. I feel, most
But
of
they're
the
still negotiating.
They're negotiating, I don't know on what basis.
You're
That
very
is
fortunate that
the
procurement hasn't
No,
come
no,
on set.
maybe on-set auditors, not procurement, but on-set
procurement
auditors.
has never come on set for me. They come.
I've
Yeah.
had them
You've
come on my
had,
set.
I've
So we
had.
always safeguard and put it into the contracts because most of these clients who have procurement teams have contracts too.
Yeah,
So we always
right.
put it on record and put it into the contract that we are not open for any on-set audits, etc., etc. But they come in the name of attending the shoot. So make friends with your enemy and you take them around and show them and make a point of showing them that,
Yeah.
look,
Where all, what all we have spent on.
there are 4 vanity vans and there is
Yeah.
this and there is that and the studio costs this much. Make best friends with them and they'll go away very happy.
Okay, it
But
has never happened
it's an
to me.
important point you bring up when you say that they don't know the cost of the camera and all that.
they don't
I think
know
they come in
anything.
different shapes and sizes. So if we look at procurement today, it's far more evolved than what it was 15 years ago. 15 years ago, there's a very well-known cost consultant who would just say, the client is saying you do so much work with them, just reduce it, no? Just reduce it, they'll feel bad. What kind of negotiation is this?
Rupak, this is the
but our
kind of
voice is too
negotiation
good,
I also get even these days. I know who you're talking about. All of us know. No, but even now they say client only has this much. I don't care how many days shoot you're doing, whatever. But this is the amount. It's you just bring it to that, or whoever is the lowest wins.
So that's in
and
some,
when
right?
when we try to open the cost sheet, see how many days shoot, what is it? Many people don't even know what costs how much. So I feel they're just there to do like one kind of a level check, just to ask. Kam kar dena, like how you do for Baji mein. Kam kar do. That's the only thing. They don't know anything.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I got reminded of a cost I sent out to an agency producer back in 2009.
Right.
And she said, oh, so how much are you spending on art and how much are you spending on? I said, I'm just asking a lot of questions. I said, it's all there, no? Where? I said, on the second sheet. There's a second sheet? How do you go there? So we've come a long way since then, I think.
No, but I feel many of the procurement they just have a figure in their head and they just say come closer to it, and they don't see logic in in what we have given, the breakdown, all that. I've always faced that. And most of them don't know. I think if we give them a script, like how before agency producers used to actually make a costing.
Yeah.
Right? So they know what it can cost, a project can cost. Now, none of the procurement team people know how much a project can cost. Okay, one day shoot, how much will it cost? They have no idea.
Are you referring to in-house procurement or procurement consultants?
Because
Anybody,
consultants actually know.
They know.
No, they
They
don't.
benchmark.
Some of them.
They benchmark.
Really?
They know. Not only that, I've had consultants with on-set auditors come to my set multiple times and done exactly what Anupama did. Right? I knew they were coming. I kept people there just to ensure that they were going to take them around. But to my astonishment, they took challans. They took bills from art director. They saw how many labor was there, and I had written
No,
15
this is
lightmen.
audit. This is a different.
No,
Yeah.
but as procurement,
On-set.
because they've negotiated, now based on the negotiation, they said, "Okay, this is what you've said." Now to ensure that commitment is pulled through, because they are hired by the client separately.
Then these are all in-house.
Right.
Like
In-house
the client
procurement, maybe
based,
that story is
procurement,
relevant, but
yeah.
third-party cost controllers, no.
That also varies by industry. I remember, I mean, initially, if you look at it, there are industries like the auto industry is run by procurement, right? It's procurement, and like the same person who's negotiating the cost of ball bearings is negotiating the cost of production. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I think we've evolved a little bit.
No, so, okay, across the table, and no need to give us numbers, but I'm saying because of procurement, what is the highest percentage you've reduced your cost by? Your initial cost to where you finally landed, and let's say you got awarded the job because of that.
No, but when we know there's procurement, I always bump my cost
Yeah.
up. I know what is, so we
Bump,
always.
but how much have you fallen?
Depends on how badly you want to do it.
Just tell me like a fake number.
20%.
20% is quite reasonable.
Yeah, but I'm a good negotiator.
Beep, beep.
Have you all ever done that online
Yeah.
bidding?
Reverse bidding.
Yeah,
reverse.
when you're
Worst.
simultaneously bidding and then
It's called a race to the bottom. And
And the lowest wins.
ironically, Ramya has done it for us.
And I'm like, I'm done. I can't do any more.
And I remember that 60-minute negotiation, right? I thought 60-minute, okay, I'm the lowest bid, now done. Reset the clock by 15 minutes. I'm like, what? And this went on for 2.5 hours.
Why? They weren't satisfied with the floor.
No, this
No,
is a deliberate
it is
thing.
a reverse
This is
bid.
psychological.
Like we have 3 bids
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
so all of us are online.
Yeah.
So you have to reduce a bid by, say, they give you a benchmark, reduce by 5 lakh. So every time you reduce it, you get your number, whether you're the lowest, lowest is 1.
You also
Second,
know the
one and
other
two
two.
else.
So you
Right.
know
Yeah.
whether you're
Yeah.
the lowest or
Yeah.
not. So when they give you 60 minutes, and then when the time is almost 10 minutes, then Varun, if me and Varun are negotiating, I'm the lowest, but he realizes he's in number 2, he reduces furthermore. So time is almost up, but the time again extends. Another 15 minutes, giving me the time to reduce further.
That's not
You
fair.
get it? Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's the
It's a
lowest,
mind
it's
fuck.
reverse
It's like a
bidding.
video
We've done
game.
this
Huh?
Yeah, it's like
I
It's
know,
like
I know.
anxiety.
it is
Yeah, I
anxiety.
know.
And you're like, okay, after a while you give up. I'm like,
I'm not joking, guys. When I did this for the first time, okay, big CPG client, I had a pen and paper, and I had done 5%, 7%, 12%, 10%, 15%, and I put numbers over there. So I knew कि ठीक है, and then I said this is my threshold.
yeah, we
अभी
all know.
इतने में range में मेरे को खेलना है wherever I go, and if it goes beyond this, that's my bid.
Yeah, but this reverse bidding does affect your psychology, and
But
I
it
went
does.
below my
It's a- it's-
threshold.
I've had
It's a live bid,
No,
so you
no,
know,
It's a live
and
bid.
all
sure
3 of
that
us
the
know
time
the
the
number.
clock gets reset. That's what I'm
And I
talking
have
about.
gone below my threshold.
Squid
Actually.
Game.
I hope
I have
none
the
of the
opposite
clients
story.
see this, but yeah.
The opposite story of the cost going up. So we were again with said cost controller. This is a job for a big FMCG beverage client shooting with a big star. And this is about 15 years ago. We're going to lock at 1.2. And no client is there, whatever, haggling for 20,000 rupees, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000. Finally, 1.17 it's locked for. We're like, okay, fine. And waiting like you, waiting for the call, all silent for 2 days. Suddenly, oh, he's shooting in Vegas, so you have to shoot in LA. Like, sorry? And suddenly this gets locked for 2.9 3 days later.
With
Where
you.
did the, yeah, with us. But
Wow,
still,
with you.
like, where did the money come from? Exactly. They haggling for 20,000 rupees.
No, that's what the money magically appears the moment the celebrity is involved and celebrity
Yeah.
ka stylist
Yeah,
aayega,
it's
all
happened
that.
with us too.
Exactly.
They will bargain for 20,000 rupees with
Yeah.
you, with
Many
the
a time.
agency, but there's nothing.
But give 20 lakhs for the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that, let's dovetail into the other interesting topic, which is celebrity advertisements, right? And all our hands are bloodied across the
It's the
table.
most stressful.
Today, when I get briefed on a job, if the client says there is no celebrity involved, and number two, the client says we are talking to millennials, not Gen Z, I am damn excited, right? Because between Gen Z and celebrities, I am done. Right? What I would like to know from you guys, and again, stories first, examples first, as producers, right? The director is always concentrating at the, like, for the product, right? He's more or less closer to the camera. He's interacting with the celebrity on set. But there is stuff that happens pre, for, like, let's say we know celebrities demand certain DOPs, celebrities, like, let's say certain costumes. There are a lot of demands that I have heard of which are like just out of whack. So there are some stories about
Private jet.
private jet.
Zoo.
Private
I
jet.
want to hear more on that.
Private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a private jet.
Yeah, I've heard about
Yeah, but
it.
that's a very normal thing. If you have to shoot outside of Bombay limits, then please provide a jet for the
You're
celebrity.
shooting outside of Bombay limits with a celebrity.
Yeah, and
That
you've-
itself is unheard of for me.
Yeah, no, and when you ask for it, then okay, then it's a private jet. That's the only answer. So we were in a situation once where we had to fly some 6 celebrities, and then they, to where? To Navi Mumbai. Firstly, colossal
jet?
waste of
Navi Mumbai?
resources, funds, carbon footprint, and then we are wondering why are we doing this? And there were no choppers available.
So
there were
then-
just no choppers available
So,
because
PJ.
there was some election happening. So all the choppers were busy there. So we are literally begging clients that we can't provide the choppers. And then they said, no, but then the celebrity will not come. So we went for, so we were given an X date. You have to shoot on this date. There were some multiple celebrities. So there were 2-3 days. And the dates kept going forward because we were waiting for choppers. And then it became, no, shoot in Bombay, shoot on set, shoot on chroma, shoot on AI, shoot this, shoot that. Finally, we still shot in Navi Mumbai. They all came to Navi Mumbai.
By car?
By car?
By
or-
car. No choppers.
Well done.
And look at the irony. The airport is now in Navi Mumbai.
So yeah, choppers is very regular.
In my experience, celebrities don't usually, if you have Mehboob Studio,
They're
that's
happy.
great, they're happy.
Yeah.
But the same thing, right? All ads today look the same because the ingredients are the same. There's a celebrity involved, there's 8 hours, there's inside a studio, they'll have certain DOPs they want to work with. So, I mean, if all the ingredients are the same, you're going to make spaghetti
The
only. You can't
DOPs
make
is something we
visible
always say no to.
Yeah.
It depends. Sometimes you can't say
Yeah.
no.
Sorry, what do you say?
With you
DOP.
only, when
DOP.
we had an experience together, we had an experience where,
Yeah.
sorry, with Delhi maybe, yeah. No, but I was saying that actually, you're talking about, this is also a little bit of an AI situation, right? I was just thinking that there is, again, another beverage client. We shot in Arizona, the Grand Canyon. The entourage cost was 1.8 CR.
Wow.
Okay. There is a and if
Garibu
we-
ki campaigns बनते
no,
हैं
no, no. And I can guarantee you, if we were to do that film today, and this was 2020, if we were to do that film today, 1.8 would be the cost of the entire production using AI for that. Using AI in limited ways and
sure.
virtual production, for sure.
For sure, for sure.
So talking about AI, as producers, right? Like, so one is, and you gave us a nice example of what is the advantage of it, right? But today, from my vantage, if I look at it, and because, like, when he told me moderate the producers thing, and this is a question I wanted to ask. When I'm scrolling reels, there's some decent production value on that also. Some of the creators, they're managing something like, quite cool, even in some of that storytelling, right? That looks great. AI-based stuff is catching up. It's looking great. So today, in this race towards getting, like, to produce as much content and, how much ever business is out there, today as a production house, how are you evolving? And number two, what do you see the future being? Like, because of course budgets are dwindling, right? We've gotten do this film on AI, here's 5 lakhs and there's 10 days, right? Tell us some examples of what you have done to future proof and what you've done to still be ahead of the curve in terms of giving the best, as Hemant says, right? The best work out there, in spite of it being AI or not, in spite of it being a 20 lakh production or a 5 lakh production or a 2 crore production. Zulika, I would like to hear from you on that.
I feel like AI is a tool, and no matter how much it evolves, it's not going to ensure a good film. It's not going to ensure a good ad. So to see it like that is not necessarily going to, like, we can all use AI, but that doesn't mean all our ads are going to be great or good. So it's a tool, you like anything else, like any other technology, you have to adapt it. It's not going anywhere, so you have to adapt it, learn how to incorporate it. The ad that we just saw from Sun Cities had a lot of AI work. That ad was a 12-day start to end schedule. So there was a lot of AI stuff that we used over there. But is that ad good because of AI? No. It's good for various other reasons, and the director's vision is one of them. So AI is not replacing any of that. I don't think it
When
is.
did you
I
shoot that?
disagree.
6 months ago.
No, so I am big on AI. I started using all my commercial maybe from last year. Massive AI. I know how everything works. So I'll tell you, this phone, 3-4 years, social, is going to go away. It's going to be the glasses, 100%. It's going. We are in the last 3-4 year of social. Like, I'll tell you one story I know, that when electricity came, everybody thought it's a demon. People were like, okay, we don't want to use in our house. This is what AI. I use massively in 16-17 campaign. Yes, I evolved. Of course, sometimes you see the real product is not, it's impressively close to something good. But like suppose car or product, you can still do CG grayscale. Recently, I did a World Cup film, whole stadium, everything AI in 3-4 days. CG guys asked, he gave me 3 months and some quote. So I mixed CG guy, online guy, AI guy, and I'm still getting the detailing and reality. But this I did 2 years back, already as an experiment in my film. I have a prototype ready 1.5 year back. My music, I've not used singer from last 18 months. It's all AI voices. You go to
Very
Suno,
cool.
you go to Suno, you take out all the separate stem, separate string,
do, yeah.
take it out, and you use it basically. And this is, and it's still original basically. Yes, some bass is needed. So this is already, I've done already on all the campaign, and I've convinced all the brand client, and I'm writing and talking about it from 1.5 year. And I'm saying phone is also gone. I've already built some prototype film from, like for this, I've tested all those meta and all. Still the glasses, 3 minute, 2 minute. But 100 today, one piece of content, and we are the example. If Nike was based on our short film which got viral. One piece of content will change your destiny. So anybody can come from anywhere and do it. It's a back-end intelligence. It gives you a lot of option for the client, a lot of pre-wish trial. I don't need people for anything. I do it in AI and quickly give you option, alternate edit. I can see where the meter can go up and down. You just put ChatGPT. You don't have to know also. Just ask ChatGPT. It will tell you this is how you judge. It resolves so many issue basically, and it is faster. But it's a back-end intelligence. More option, more thing.
To what Zulika said, right?
Human taste.
Yeah.
No, the final judgment, this is working. But rest you have to do nothing. It solves a lot of cost issues, optimize everything,
So
basically.
just to that point, because it is the producer's thing, and I'll ask Ramya this. When you say it solves cost issues, right? At some point, people will get privy to that, right? Today, you could say that, so and so client or so and so agency wants X product, and you could just not tell them that you're using AI, for instance.
Yeah.
I mean, the agency person would know, but the client doesn't need to know. You give them the product for the X amount of money, right? But at some point, the client and a lot of our clients also are quite privy to what AI is capable of. Have you seen your budgets dwindle because of AI itself?
They're just dwindling anyway.
Yeah, correct. It's dwindling.
Where are
anyway.
they?
Let's blame AI for that. But okay, I mean, jokes about like, do you see that happen in the future even more so? Your budgets, your resources in terms of money and time.
See, we haven't done much of AI as how Ganesh has done. Budget wise, I can tell you, sometimes when you have to do some white shots for a film, yeah, you would typically, there was a film that we were doing and we had, they wanted a castle shot, which we would have to go to Jaipur or some Udaipur and shoot it at the right time, and all that would have costed X amount of money. Versus we did it in AI plus CG plus, as I said, integrate everything and got a golden hour beautiful shot. That was way cheaper than taking the whole crew and doing it. And we gave both the options to the client. And of course, the client said, let's try the AI part. If it doesn't work, then we'll go to shoot. So, yeah, I haven't used so much, but can I ask a question? What happens to the right when you're using when you're creating music and songs and all? Who has the royalties and because it is coming out of so many things, right? So who has the rights?
So what I'm doing, we have a lawyer on board. So I generally run through him. He's a very pretty good lawyer for everything, a lot of issues. But I'm there 2-3 years. So these are checked. So it's transferred as a delegation. Okay, just check. So I will figure it out what he's doing, or I can connect. But these are like taken care of. It's not an issue. But I do tell client I'm going to use AI. I'm using as an advantage because I want to move ahead in this scale very fast. I don't want to dependent on those CG guys who will say 3 months and killing my director and my ambition all the time, my vision. So a lot of things which is around can be built really good. Maybe in 4 months that will be solved. But also it solved budget problem for a lot of us basically, because a lot of waste is not happening basically. Also faster option, nothing work, next day you have something, next day you have something. Otherwise you have to negotiate with this guy. Of course I'm a good negotiator, but it takes energy. So I spend time on AI everywhere, and actually you can give a feedback to people also basically. So I to encourage people even use for feedback. Multiple human hours will also be reduced because it's already telling you what is not there, but people are not. But only thing you have to build a trust factor कि you are going to do that, inform them. I telling them कि this is what I'm going to do.
Not everything can be done, right, in AI yet.
No, so
yeah, it's
so
only
CG,
I've only used it for white shots, CG plus, yeah.
CG and VFX wise, I think it's going to be leaned into heavily. Like we have our own post in house, and that's how we're structured, right? And all my 3D guys, 2D guys, editors even are experimenting with AI, and it's cutting time down by anything. I mean, you would normally ask for like a month to do that kind of CG work, but that's down to days, like 3 or 4 days maybe. And you have results, you have a look. But I'm on the fence in terms of whether it has soul. Like I think it'll always be kind of hybrid. You do need that that human sort of empathy even to just like look at frames, feel something, go on location, what that natural light feels like. I don't think all that will ever go away, but certain aspects of it will cut time, like how he said that Suno. I mean, I started experimenting with it just recently actually, and I was like blown, man. Like you save a lot of time, and that I think will count for something, because you always have your agency saying ETA.
Don't make it sound so easy. Clients are coming back to us. Huh?
So what the client part
Winter is coming.
for all producers, all producers, I have 4-5 projects going on. I can't review everything every time. I export chat, put ChatGPT, tell me this is the problem, and I go on all the call. I have all the time to do my personal project where I'm developing my skill. But I'll give you on the empathy part. I know that possibly my grandchildren may date, it's already happening, or marry a virtual person or robot. So I know it will go away. Like 15 years back, we used to take menus and order food. Now I just Uber. BlackBerry is gone. So I remember that I was also very forward in technology, of course, but I remember that people used to say कि it will never go away. So now I remember that menu thing. First job you get as a producer कि खाना order करो client के लिए, है ना? So and it's now is like gone. So this is change.
I have a slightly different opinion, right, on AI. and it comes on the back. I think I've learned AI on the back of experimenting. We did say it with Oreo. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the campaign. This is with Farhan Akhtar.
Yeah.
We generated 1.8 million 100% personalized voice for Farhan with AI. Now, this had never happened when we got that brief. We're the first, in fact, we're the first globally to do 100% personalization on messaging, right? With a celebrity, under a celebrity contract using AI. And recently I was in Shanghai 2 months ago, and I've seen some of what ByteDance is doing and what Kling is doing. And if you start looking at that, I don't think it's a far off conversation. I agree with everyone on this saying empathy is not there, that human emotion is not there. I think AI is not challenging creativity, it's challenging thinking. It's enabling thinking. It's telling you, think, I will make it possible. It might not be what you want, but I will make it possible. Now you as a craftsman come and elevate that craft to whatever you think. Now whether it is on the back of prompting, whether it's on the back of putting CGI, online editor together, whether it's on the back of, listen, I'm a director, I know how to act, I will prompt the AI such that it captures exactly my expression and delivers, it is delivering.
Yeah.
Today in China, there are 5,000 AI features being produced. The only reason AI is behind is because it's not got enough data. So the secret sauce on AI is the data. The moment we produce more on AI, AI is going to become the front end of what we're doing. So I don't think it's an enabler.
According to me, as a producer, we all are safe till the time it is not shared by uncle, aunties, bhaiya, babis on the WhatsApp group. Correct. The day AI film is shared on the uncle, aunties, bhaiya, babis, you should start looking for some other business.
Correct.
But actually, it is being shared, and they don't know it's AI.
Yeah,
No,
it's
matlab,
already being
still
shared.
till date, I haven't got it, so I'm like, I'm safe.
But one more
Good
crazy
WhatsApp groups.
one more crazy idea.
No,
we didn't think of virtual till Mandalorian happened. Right. And then you said, oh shit, virtual is the thing. And I think all of us went and said, ये virtual से क्या कर सकते हैं, right? We are on the fence and somewhere there and dabbling with. The day one great piece of AI work comes, we'll all as producers, just because we are all inquisitive, we all love finding solutions, we are going to say, ये किया कैसे?
No, I have one crazy solve. I use it. I told one of my producer friend also, he's using it. ChatGPT as a model. So what I did, I have a 2 lakh word documentation of my thought and lot of decision. I put as a PDF and upload. So when I fatigue, I have to take a decision, I put there, and it take decision for me. And I'm doing it already for 1 year.
is this only on ChatGPT, or you also use Gemini and others?
No. I have used ChatGPT, but from 1 year I'm doing it. Suppose I have a cold,
Yeah.
because sinus, you lose decision making, you have to approve something. I put there, and it tells this is who you are, this is how you did in the past. At least have a base, and I'm not taking an emotional decision where somebody pressurizing me. A lot of time it happened. We come under pressure.
Next time, then it'll be your ChatGPT model sitting
He's
here.
already no. So
Next time, I think Ganesh is going to order food and feed it to
I
ChatGPT.
raise
His
my
initials
kid.
are also GPT.
GP.
No, so my kid, me and my wife have a common ChatGPT thing, and I put a lot of input there, and she has an issue. She put there, it tells ki just tell her this. But I did the documentation part myself. Ki you sit and observe. No, it's not random. If you do random, I put all my thoughts. I journal from like 2 lakh word you put. So more you put data, which he says, it exactly I am fatigued and I can manage more projects. Otherwise, everybody is looking at you for when the problem is there, they come to you and you have no context. Either you say and lose money. I stopped losing money because of that. I said, no, this is what it is. I know that the other person is emotionally triggering something in me. So I said, no, this has to be rational. ChatGPT simple told me, ask for more data for procurement. It told me, I said, shit, he's telling me ki I'm walking away, nahi ho payega message. It told me, just ask him for more data. You generally ask for people. I did that, and we did that project. Because otherwise I would have said, Achha, theek hai, okay, done, I'm walking
It's
away.
worth the 2,000 rupee premium account.
Guys,
This is inspiring, man.
No, but
I will show you also in the break how I do it.
Sorry, Rupak, you were
No, I'm just saying that when we talk about AI and advertising right now, first of all, I think like 70% of all advertising content, static, dynamic, video, whatever, in less than a year from now
Yes.
is going to be
I-
AI.
100%.
At least.
Yeah.
But when we talk about AI, we're only referring to Gen AI in this conversation right now, right? Because everything has AI. I mean, your Unreal Engine, et cetera, which is not just for your production process, but even for previs, in terms of aiding a lot of different things that we do. So one way or another, it's going to happen. I think for us, the question is, how do we avoid getting into competition with two guys sitting in Starbucks? Because then, you can't compete. They have no cost, they have
I
nothing.
just have a so again with Omnicom has a similar thing. We have a similar thing. WPP has open as well, right? And so we have something called Marcel Make. One place, and just to answer your question, Ramya, is how do you actually use the tools such that who owns the rights, right? At least in these environments that we have access to, and my teams just did a training yesterday for a bunch of tools. So we have a weekly training. 26 trainings is what we are going to do this year, right? And these tools are accessible inside a clean room. So the data set is owned by us, right? And if we understand that the data set is owned by you and you as a crafter, and then it's your data. No one else is going to own it. So if you own the data, AI is only going to enable the power of that data, the solve that comes out of it. But you need to feed it first, right? So that's going to happen. So we have a platform called Marcel Make, which is built on 17 agents and 27 tools. All these tools talk to each other. You throw a brief in, you will get a static output out of that. Not only that, that'll get served to media, all within one singular platform, right? So which is why it's a reality. Yes, in the reason Gen AI, because it affects what all of us are trying to do immediately. But if I look at it as an end-to-end ecosystem, it's going to solve for so much more. Maybe give us the opportunity to do what we do really well.
Yeah. It's a tool, which will help us to do better.
I mean, you just have
No,
to.
the way I look at it, it has definitely raised the floor. The raising of the ceiling, as Zulekha said, right? It'll be our job, be your job.
Yeah. But having said that, all the celebs are moving towards protecting their identities
Yes.
from AI.
Yeah.
So there
And
is
we will
a
have
reason for
virtual
that.
celebs
Yeah.
also soon.
Yeah.
No, because
Yeah,
Already.
totally created by AI, which
We
I've
have,
seen.
guys, Varun
You're
Maya.
such a cheerleader.
Guys, I 100% I'm a cheerleader for AI.
Not you.
Varun Maya is created more than half his videos that go out there are created on AI.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'm
He's
not a
modeled
AI
himself
hater.
and created 1000x on the back of his AI avatar.
I'm not an AI hater.
No, I'll give you
Also-
example. This is ultra human. There's a product coming. It will, in 8 years, it will order food you based on your condition. This is food you want directly. So this is already in the plan. Kecha, you are feeling low on this. It will automatically go to that website and order for you. So forget decision making.
Thank
basically.
God, now my cook does it. I don't have to tell
And
my cook what to cook.
I anyway
AI
try the patch,
AI
but it's going
बताएगा
there.
इसको क्या बनाना है.
So it's happening for sure.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next topic. There's, usually with production and this much amount of money involved and everything, right? We've obviously along the way heard of many unethical practices. I heard of one recently. I don't know how many of you guys are privy to this. Sometimes some people are and some of the bigger production houses are not. But there's apparently a word called rebate, which is doing the rounds. And to some extent, apparently it's become quite officious, there's paperwork and everything involved where money essentially, which is given by the client for production, does find a way back, some part of it does find a way back to the agency. Just wanted to quickly go across around the table and figure out how many of you guys have heard of it, how many of you guys have been asked for it, and what are your viewpoints on this right now? Like, is that money kosher?
It's not new. So I know that when I was on the agency side in Europe, working at large agencies, it was a standard practice where it was considered a supplier discount. So production companies that worked regularly with agencies would give a certain percentage of rebate in terms of their billing. So it wasn't per job, but you'd say, okay, X production company has done so many million euros through the year, so we expect X amount back, and it was contractually bound. The fact that it has come up now and is much more in the spotlight is because I think there were many other unethical practices also bundled in, so everything has come up for scrutiny now, and or clients asking a lot of questions which they weren't asking earlier. Also, we live in the age of transparency now. And honestly, in the last millennium, we totally didn't. So technology also has accelerated that. So it's not new.
No, it has happened when we directly bill a client and the agency says that we are not getting any part of it. So can you put in the budget like some X amount so that you can give it to us? They bill us because client isn't paying the agency. So they say we have done so much hard work. So once you get the film, at least once you finish it, keep it in the budget and give it to us. So
see,
this
my-
has
That's a different
happened
narrative.
My point
because
is
client
the-
is not paying.
The client is paying the agency, right? The client pays the project fee or they pay the retainer. And
No, but nowadays people come on, yeah, as I said, project.
no, see,
Most of the time
so
it's
for,
project.
For instance, even in a project, right, we get a project fee and we get sometimes like, we ask the client and we tell the client upfront that there's a supervision fee based on the budget of the production, right? But that is kosher because that's above the table. You're telling the client that, this is the money or this is the percentage that I feel you owe me.
But wasn't it before? The agency is to pay us because, and then they get on the percentage of billing. So that part, that huge chunk of production cost is off and they don't get that percentage. So then they ask us to give that percentage.
But see, this
And it's all
presented-
legal,
sorry.
like as
See-
you said, it's all on.
See, this
I don't
presented
have
as
that
a
problem.
law. See, no, so when
your mark safe.
we don't have education of the world. This comes to us for a lot of time, first time as some law. There's some rule has come. You don't question it much because it come on paper and everything. Only in hindsight we can think, acha, this may be because you don't know the difference. That is brand, that is agency. They all come same. More or less, even brand, he said, I know one brand. They said we are going to, even if they are not working, they're just making with my CFO some contract, and CFO asked, should we do this basically? So I said, of course, you are in charge, you decide. But this has come more as some practice. Like it's not somebody did unofficially, it's all on paper.
Sorry,
directly.
Kashif, you want to make a point?
No, so I think that there are a few things about this. Now, facts are that I don't think agencies, even though you're getting your consulting fee or your supervision fee or whatever, they're not making as much money as they did back
Correct.
then. I mean, especially when I was agency and you had an agency commission and almost every client was on some, massive commission. You made something of media. So it was a whole large chunk that you got, So if that's kind of reduced or, diminished, then there's some survival factor over here.
I mean, I have heard horror stories about agency producers negotiating with the production, with you guys, and bringing it down to, let's say, 50 rupees, and then saying, yes, now give me a cost for 85. And that's a terrible practice because if you can tell the client that I deserve that 35 rupees more, good on you, man. Go demand your your share. But if you can't tell the client that, then that's not kosher.
The worst part is that what they don't realize is that it's actually affecting the film. Because that
You've
extra
beaten
money.
down the budget so much.
Yeah,
Right.
because you would have made a better film with that extra money,
Yeah.
It's not like everybody
That's
wants
actually
to
the
just
biggest
profit.
issue.
Sorry?
That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
If the point is that the agency feels like that's money that they deserve or it's a certain fee that they deserve, it shouldn't come from the production budget.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Say it out loud, if need be, add it to the production budget. We give you the budget, you add on to it and then submit it. But for
that-
it to come from the production budget is...
But that's the bigger problem is that the production budget itself is not defined. no?
Yeah.
And that again comes back to the agency producer who would make sure that there is enough time and money for what you're asking for. Without that budget, you're saying, we also know, they're saying they have 1 crore. Okay, fine. We're not going to give a cost of less than 1.5 so we can negotiate from there. No, what's the point? You're wasting time and money.
Okay, quickly around the table, and I'll start with Ramya. What's the most expensive mistake you've made in production?
Oh God, and I was glad, no, that was only on budget sheet. I missed a zero. And this was in Nirvana days. And it was a huge zero. And I prayed, that was the only time I prayed that job never materialized. And it didn't. And I was lucky. So it was a huge mistake and after that, I have never done that mistake, but yes.
Does Sneha know about it?
No, the project didn't come through.
Now she does.
The project didn't come through, so I had some luck on my side.
Kashif?
I think I'm still making mistakes, to be honest. Like, it's sometimes it's just like, betting on people that you're not really vibing with, so they don't care about your money per se, and then they stretch it to a point where, basically you're making nothing. So that's a bit of trial and error that keeps happening with me, honestly. Like it's one that, you know, repeats itself, but I try to be more conscious now. Yeah.
Hemant,
Lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of mistakes.
tell the most interesting one.
The most, I think the one job which made me actually a producer was one commercial, you know, where we knowingly, you know, like when we were budgeting for it, we knew the competitive, we were just young guys, you know, and they were like giants of the production houses were quoting for it. I just called the servicing guy and he said, what is the cost? He said, let's say 10 rupees. I said, I'm sending you 8 rupees. I'll do it. What is the negotiation you will do now? So we got the job, and that was like out of India. And then from there, it just went wrong.
You spent 18.
Means you imagine the job is costing me, I have picked up a job which is for 20 rupees. My client has 10 rupees. I have costed 8 rupees. I'm already in loss. And then the job involved a animal. So we go there, the animal gets startled or whatever. 3-day shoots become 6-day shoot. Every day we have to shoot, shoot, wait. So I'm already in loss. So, but that project, you know, it's a very good story. But yeah, knowingly I did it, and I think that commercial also one of the commercials which, you know, got us noticed again.
Which one was it?
Idea Monkey.
Great story.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. Like it doesn't end there. You know, there was a lot of hiccups during the job, and to the extent, you know, we finished. Amit shot, you know, that time film cans, 99 film cans. You know, 99.
11,800 rupees per can.
Exactly.
13,500. You know, yeah, 99 film rolls he shot, and then, you know, we finished the shoot, and then we didn't have money to do telecine over there, so we had to get the, you know, rolls back. And you will not believe, you know, like it's a very good story, but at the end of it, Amit comes while we were leaving. So the producer said, "You can't go back without paying." I said, "You know, I don't have any money to pay you, you know, because we have already paid him a lot of money." And he said, "No, you can't." So Amit Alia goes back. They transfer the money, and then I'm carrying the bags. And Amit calls and he says, "Ki, listen, don't put the rolls in
In the scanner.
In the scanner.
no, don't put the rolls in luggage.
Yeah.
Carry as hand baggage." You can imagine 99 rolls, but there were 4 big bags like this.
Yeah.
And I'm on the Joburg airport. I'm like, boss, and can I take it as a hand luggage? I'm embarrassed, thinking कि 4 luggage कैसे ले जाने देगा. They said, no, you can't. I said, please. And Amit and Alia's bag have already lost. They landed here. Their luggage was not there. So he said, please don't do this. You know, it will be a big problem. So they said nothing. So I said, okay, please make sure these bag reaches Bombay. She said, I can't take the guarantee. I said, okay. I land in Bombay, you'll not believe none of the bags reach.
Oh God.
We have already lost money, everything. And during the shoot, I'm thinking, because the animal was not shooting in Cape Town, I'm thinking, oh, where I can go, Brazil, Argentina, wherever. You know, I'm like, shit, man, this is like the worst job I've picked up. And now the cans are not there. We have landed. 2 days after that, there's a presentation. Nobody knows. I called Amit, you know, around 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm telling you, I've lost my mobile in the flight. I'm losing my mind. I lost myself that day, you know. I was actually on the verge of losing. And I called Amit and I said, Amit, listen, you know, and Amit, one thing with Amit is that he will pick up your call anytime. You call him at 4 in the morning or whatever. Haan, bol. I said, Amit, cans nahi aaye. And you know, sorry, but he said, मजाक मत कर, सोने दे यार. And I'm like, ये पागल है यार, it's not his mistake. And I went to my home and I was like, and I was losing myself. I was just walking in the house. I said, क्या करूँ? Can't do anything. कहाँ से पैसा लाएंगे? I pick up my car. I don't have phone also because, you know, I've lost it. So I'm driving in Bombay till 8:39. That time it was Hutch. I go to Hutch shop, buy a card, buy a phone. And 9:30 Amit wakes up. He's like, हाँ, चल मैं टेलीसिने के लिए निकल रहा हूँ. मैंने कहा कहाँ निकल रहा है? There is no can. He said, what the f***?
And then?
To be continued.
अरे नहीं यार.
बताओ यार. No, you can't leave.
So yeah, I mean, so what means I was, so I, you know, usually I don't lose my whatever patience and all. But I was, and Amit and Alia, they get, like tensed. Very.
Yeah.
So this was like disaster. Like and this job we have picked up cutting everyone's cost, and agency has trusted us. Ki boss, they will deliver. Deliver, bhul jao, can hi nahi hai. And they were already, they have already adjusted for us because the shoot.
This I'm guessing is bulky and
Balki, Tarun sir, Nikhil Rao, Ashwin Varki, and they have already adjusted because of us. Ki, okay, can shoot Monkey from 3 days to it has become 10 days. So they pushed the timelines and all. So I said, "Abhi kya bolenge?" Nikhil is calling, "हाँ sir, हाँ sir, आ रहे हैं क्या? हाँ telecine चल रहा है." And then nothing. We are all sitting in our one room, Amit's house and Amit and Alia's house, come office, and kya kare? They are asking me continuously. I said, I can't do anything. I'm calling the airlines. They are not answering because they are 4.5 hours behind. So finally, around 4:35, somebody picks up the phone over there, and they say, I said, where are the bags? Nothing delivered. He said, no, I don't know. I said, can you please make sure, it's my life. So luckily one person said, I saw something like this getting loaded. I said, thank God, kuch to aayega. And then cut to again 3:30 in the night, me and Amit are at the airport. Conveyor belt bags are coming. And so me and Amit are together like this. And every 2 seconds, ये तेरा bag है क्या? Amit is asking, ये तेरा bag है क्या? मैंने कहा Amit. And I'm tensed. I'm trying to, so I'm like, Amit, बोलूँगा. बताऊंगा. So ये वाला है क्या? And everyone's bag is coming and going. Literally at some time, after some time I lost it. I said, cut to 5 minutes later, Amit is standing there, I'm standing here. We're not talking. We're not talking with each other. And like we both are, because I abused him back, he's abused me. And we're just not, suddenly I look at one bag, I'm like, Amit, bag aa gaya bhai. One bag comes, second bag comes, again there is lull. I said, Amit, ye leke nikal, telecine chalu kar. Then all 4 bag comes and,
Wow, in
we
how
deliver.
many days?
Huh?
Kitne din
Came
mein?
the next
No,
day.
next day.
Next day, it got the next
We delivered
flight.
and yeah, they loved it.
Wow.
Now I can imagine Malki's reaction.
I've got anxiety listening to this story.
No, on top of
All
that,
of us, I think, have sunk.
we all edited the film, and there is one shot which is not there. And we all are sitting like this, man. And again, I'm thinking, how do we do this? Because there is presentation tomorrow, and we all are shit scared, including me, Amit, Nikhil Rao, Ashwin. Balki sir comes in like, what is this? Edit is done. Sir, done, sir. Sir, one problem. Let me see. I just reverse it, no? So he managed to, he didn't know about the problem, but then he saw, he's like, okay, what, everything, very good, yeah, very good. And we couldn't believe this much we couldn't think. But yeah, in between there were a lot of problems. But yeah, that one film made me the producer, like, okay, now I know
great
how to
story.
handle pressure.
Great story.
Yeah.
Anupama, your
I
most
don't
Sorry,
have
I ate
any
lot of
such
time.
exciting
No,
stories
you
to
should.
tell. I have
You've
never.
not made an expensive mistake.
No, I've taken very expensive risks, but I have not made an expensive
Wow, lucky
mistake.
you.
Luck is on your side.
Yeah.
My story goes back to Jan 2009. We'd existed for about 3 years then, and we'd just done this one Nokia film with Priyanka Chopra, which got us really noticed. And suddenly we were competing with these guys and Nirvana, and all this. Suddenly you're like, wow. And we were bidding for 3 jobs, Unilever jobs, shooting in Bangkok. There were 2 Lakme jobs and 1 Vaseline. And we ended up getting all 3. And once we left for Bangkok, I realized that in one of the Lakme jobs, I had put all the costs as 1 shoot day instead of 2 shoot days. Somehow that got approved. That's why the budget overall was quite low. And so basically we lost about 40 lakhs for a new production house in that time. But that really made everything for us, because after that we did about 500 HUL films. And I guess it was more than made up for.
Wow.
I've made a
Oh, confession time.
This is fun.
But you know about this. You
Which one?
scolded me about this. You remember Anders' ticket?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Tell story, tell story.
The director for he had to travel from Sweden to Bangkok. We were going to Bangkok to shoot IKEA, and I've booked his ticket. he goes to the airport and then he calls me and he's like,
July instead of June.
yeah, Zuleika, the ticket is for a month later. I'm going back home. And
That's
so business class ticket from Sweden to Bangkok.
right.
Shit. I think, I'm sure there are many of those. Let's take a recent one. Recent as in couple of years ago. We're shooting with the Bolt. Okay, and Bolt's running full speed, which is whatever, 80 odd kilometers an hour. It's match cut. We're shooting multiple layers, right? So, zoop, pass one, second pass, third pass. The director and the DP decide that they're not going to shoot passes. Okay? They're like, nahi, ye sab ho jayega, it's going to look great. I said, but, ये तो कॉम करेंगे तो ही आउटपुट आएगा जो हम लोग ने प्रेजेंट किया. So they said, nahi. So I'm looking at the monitor, I'm like, ये सब blurry है. Because it's moving really fast. So I went back, I said, hey guys, ये सब blurry है. तो don't worry, post में fix हो जाएगा. I said, post में fix हो जाएगा? ठीक है, okay. Second take, like ये blurry है. The whole day, the entire day I've gone and said, भाई ये blurry है. They said, nahi, post में fix हो जाएगा. ठीक है, we've gone to the post studio, we had Sally's, edit. Films come, blurry hai. The entire film is blurry. It's soft focus. Big client. I'm like, kya karenge kya? And everyone's trying to try do everything. Okay? We have the Bolt operator, fairly well known. The DP, everyone, सब लोग grade में कर रहे हैं, sharpen कर रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, shadow, ये वो, everything's going on. कुछ भी, the film looks clear on a screen that's that small. So we are saying, भाई सबको ना WhatsApp पे भेज देते हैं. फोन पे दिखेगा, फोन पे. See, we get approval. All of us get approvals on WhatsApp. So there. Now the next day, because no one realized this, I knew it. Agency did. Everyone's come to the studio because the CEO of the company has decided कि मुझे स्टूडियो में देखना है. I'm like, भाई देख, approve किया आपने WhatsApp वाला. We've come. And I know you know this possibly, but in the studio blurry hai. So I went. I told the creative, listen guys, I'm telling you, ये film blurry है, मत बुलाओ इसको. Like, nahi, he's very excited about the film. They've seen it on, his team has seen it on WhatsApp. Approved. The CEO's flown from somewhere, he's come, he's seen, blurry hai. I said, I'm going to try and fix whatever I can, but I'm very sorry, it's blurry. Now on this, if I have to give money back, on your question, do I make a loss on a project? Can you imagine the entire film is blurry?
So you didn't reshoot it?
No. After that, the client said, ये नहीं करना है हमें, ये treatment ही नहीं करना है हमें.
So ironically, the client got clarity after that.
So, but after that, I've shot 40 campaigns for that client. Because since the day we shot, till the day the client came, which was odd 7-8 days, I had not gone home. I said, मेरे को ये fix करना है कैसे, whatever I can do to get it right, I'm going to do. And we called everyone in the whole world. मिल को phone कर लिया, इसको phone कर लिया, भाई इसको कुछ fix करके दे.
I've heard the word mill after so long.
Yeah.
Because I remember Ramsap, just as an aside, he heard mill and then there was one 6-month period where any film is saying, let's go to the mill. Right? But the irony was, one day, he finally managed, to get in touch with the mill for a project. And then he was smoking a cigarette, very tensed. I said, what happened, Ramsap? What did the mill say? Acha, that dude. We went to the mill, their budget is for Kamla mill.
Guys, Airtel 175, okay? I've probably done it in under 1/5 the cost.
Come on.
See, expensive mistake in context. So we were third film old. So we are doing a film for a brand. Anyway, the balance come later. And I was getting married in April. This is March project, big breakthrough. We are like finally are getting recognized. So we planned for 2 days, shot it. Third day also came. So I took out all my wedding money. It was destination wedding I planned, and I didn't give the advance. So my wife did her part, like not by that time. So, and it was not family, we were not kind of that time was in agreement. Ki you guys decide, you do whatever. You're wedding on your own. So it was good for friends, everything. And suddenly this client said, we can't give you CFO traveling, maybe May. And 10, 12 days I was like under pressure because now we have to call off because you can't get married. I waited ki maybe come 30 days. I went to their office. They were like, I'm getting married. Can you give me at least advance, basically? Then I was like, now it's only 15 days. She called me like, what's happening? You tell me, basically. I didn't have any courage. I said, ki now, I can't do it, basically. And I was like, of course, I'm not picking up phone and basically everything. And of course, this was a mistake. Ki please learn accounting and take advance before. But of course, later she figured out, she paid. Of course, my business partner figured out,
She
paid
did
for
get
it.
married.
Yeah,
You got married.
I got married. No, then she
At that
figured
point
it.
of time. when
So
it
these
was
kind
planned.
of risks is what I was talking about.
No,
Expensive
but
risks.
this is the unique case of getting a divorce before you get married.
Yeah, I mean, you planned everything invitation is out, and you first as a producer you learn accounting and revenue model. Otherwise, if you do completely out of passion, it's a big expensive mistake. What's the point?
Great stories here.
Basically.
Okay, quickly now we'll go reverse order. We spoke about celebrities, right? And let's do a mix of, let's keep it open. Let's make it a mix of celebrities and clients. Okay, they swing either way. What is the most bizarrest story that you have about a celebrity or a client? Just to let you know, I will start one small one. I will not take the client's name, but there was a client on set. They asked for a vanity van for their CEO or the founder. That person came in, requested for the makeup lady to put makeup on him, and it was a celebrity shoot, so that when he meets the celebrity,
But I've
he
actually,
looks
I know,
great.
yeah, I've done this so many
It was
times.
so bizarre, man, for
I've
me.
done it so many times.
This is normal.
What are you
They ask for
saying?
HMU for the picture with the celebrity.
In
Clients.
the, in the
I've never
picture,
seen
they'll
it.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Ganesh, we'll go with you. What is
Celebrity
the
wise?
celebrity or client?
No, man, nothing. They all have been good to me.
You're being a good boy.
I'm thinking. Move on.
Yeah.
I'm still
we'll
thinking.
come
bizarre.
back.
I have two stories.
Ah.
You have two stories.
I have two stories.
Actually, you start with you.
Yeah,
We'll
well,
come back.
start from there.
We might get inspired by the time.
Yeah. One, though, we had, I can't tell the client's name and all, but we had so many costumes. The entire dunya was there. And client is the one who's choosing what costume, right? So then after that, she asked, Acha, get 2 sizes in that particular costume. I said, no, but it'll fit our model, everything. No, get. We did. Then third day after that, then the client says, can I use that costume? I have a meeting. I said, okay, please use it. So that was one request.
It's called a rebate.
Rebate. Yeah, but it's okay. This rebate is okay. The other thing was with the celebrities. Okay, again, there were 3 celebs in this film, and all of them were fighting through their managers that I will be in the center. I will be in the center. So all 3 of them are coming and whispering in my ears and Shisha's ears, no, center mein rakho. So the client comes up with a fantastic idea. Camera ko घुमाते रहना, center कोई नहीं रहेगा. So this is another thing.
Yeah, I had a strange one with, I mean, if you guys are going to actually beep it, it was with, and I don't know what mood he was in. And he walked onto set and he just didn't want to take her seriously. Like, he just heckled his way through the first half, heckling. And all of us are wondering what's going on. I mean, like, where's this going to go, And on top of that, you have their managers saying, hey, okay, you just have this much. It's going to get over because, he doesn't have time. All of that is going on. So you have this thing where, by the end of it, like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just going to, like, stop. Like, this is not moving anywhere. The client's wondering, like, is the director up to it? Can she not handle the celebrity? But facts are like he was just not acting well. It was unfair on her, honestly. So it was kind of weird. Yeah.
We might have to beep this entire story.
Entire story.
Hemant?
Many, but I can't say anything.
I don't know why he's looking at me. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया भाई.
Say no, Hemant, as a we'll beep it.
No, many. But
I will
matlab-
learn something.
But the only thing I can say, I've abused one back. I said, and then after that, the celebrity, one of the biggest, did whole shoot without saying anything.
Now this one you have to tell us.
See, that
Later.
you all
Abused like I gave mummy, papa everything.
Mummy, Papa.
I said,
Didi.
nothing doing here. Because, matlab, see, I think, we are under, I personally feel we all should come on set as worker, not like as I'm the
Yeah,
director, I'm the producer, I'm the star, blah, blah, blah. We all are here to work, let's work together and go back. No, why we are creating this, especially these celebrity
Completely
managers,
second this.
I feel that we should be, matlab, if I'm a stupid person, tell me, yeah, you're doing this wrong, matlab, don't have to act. But yeah, means many stories, later I'll tell you.
You abused at the start of the shoot or at the end?
Yeah, immediately. 2 hours.
It's like tipping. Do you give before so that you get good service, or do you tip?
Well,
in the
I
end?
think it was me, so I also like क्या बच गया मैं वरना तो मतलब I don't think many can.
Like how he's like, it was me, so bad.
No, as in मतलब I don't care, I don't care,
No, but I agree with you.
I immediately give back. Within 2 hours. If that is the question.
Within 2 hours, first 2 hours.
Any of you
Next
guys
6 hours
have,
were cool, very cool.
any of you guys have stories or?
These are very exciting. I suddenly feel कि मेरे पास
Very boring.
I have stories, but I don't know if they're like painful enough.
No, honestly, there are
everybody has
many
stories, but
painful
not
stories. There are 2-3 people who are regularly painful when you work with them. But I think
Take the name.
maybe, I mean, okay, if you're going to beep it out, fairly painful. Make sure you beep this out. Then also, there's a power couple who has become particularly painful.
I know.
Everyone knows who it is.
Yeah,
There's only one.
particularly painful. But let me tell you the story of the best. And I have to say that bar none, 15 years ago, so actually that whole thing I was talking about, which was in Vegas, that was with Ranbir. In 2010, in 2014, and now in 2025, by far the most professional, sweetest, nicest guy to ever work with.
I second that.
In fact, I was
Unbelievable.
I was going to say, you should talk about the celebrity.
Shah Rukh also.
But Shah Rukh is just
Shah Rukh also. No,
Shah Rukh,
but he's still a star. You know?
But I have a great
He's
Shah Rukh
great.
story where he's
But,
So my
you know,
next
he's
question
but Ranbir
was
is
going to
just-
be, we've spoken about the bad clients or celebrities. Right? Nobody's talking about clients right now. But I'm
I'll
saying
give you a client story.
Oh yeah, come on.
a good or a bad one.
अरे शी प्राइवेट जेट और क्या चाहिए अभी इलॉन
See,
मस्क के
client-
साथ भेज दो
Celebrities, I worked with a bunch of them and they're all really okay. You have the same managers,
Yeah.
a-hole and those kind of things. But I've had a client have an anxiety attack because the director would not move the pillow on the bed.
What?
Wow.
Wow.
Where were you working at the time?
I've been pretty good with her यार
IKEA?
suddenly
No, you didn't come. And I hope she doesn't remember me.
Now she
You
will.
should go to your sets more often, man.
What's going on?
no, but I have a good Shah Rukh story.
Yeah, so let's hear a good story because I actually second what Rupak said. Like for me, at least Ranbir and Amir, both stellar to work with. Yeah. I mean, obviously because he's involved and he gives you
Yeah,
time before.
Yeah.
Also, right? Like you're paying him for
He
a
wants
day and
to
8
know
hours.
your-
Right? He wants to
yeah.
know what he's doing. He comes for PPMs.
But I think Ranbir is the same.
Even
Ranbir also,
yaar, Anil Kapoor on Spotify, he came for the PPM. He sat, pre-rehearsed his lines with the director, with agency together, and then came on set. The amount of time he ended up giving. I mean, of course, those campaigns did really well at that point, right? And that was because Anil Kapoor spent so much time there.
Yeah.
Because he took away the celebrity quotient that came around him and played the character that he was supposed to do. And that's why it went. But the good story that I have is Shah Rukh. We're shooting for a fairly large lifestyle home furnishing brand. And, everyone knows, right? There's
It's
a
Shah Rukh, so we
call
know.
time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, but this time, so usually we've been shooting with him, so you obviously know he only comes at 2 o'clock, right?
Yes.
So, कुछ भी कर लो 2 बजे ही आने वाला है. But they said, नहीं, he has a dinner planned at his house, and and we are shooting with his wife as well, and which is why he is going to come 9 बजे. ठीक है. Corey turns up at 8:30, punctual. We start shooting with her. Obviously, we said, by the time he comes, we'll take whatever shots he has to do. He's not turned up. And I'm like, बोला था मैंने 2 बजे ही आएंगे, 2 बजे ही आएंगे. Now we are screwed because he has dinner. मैं 4 घंटे में 8 घंटे का काम कैसे निकालूंगा?
But
He
it's
came on,
Shahrukh.
he came on set. He didn't apologize to me. He apologized to the entire crew.
Yeah, he does that.
He does that.
He said, I am sorry I'm late. And he came and told me, the director, we all there. He said, listen, till you don't finish, I'm not going anywhere. And he called ghar pe, he said, whoever the guests come, start everything. I will come 2 hours later, whatever that period was. And he didn't go till he finished.
But that's the other thing about him, right? He will come at 2 and he will do 8 hours of work in 4 hours, one take wonder. Thak,
And then the
thak,
client will
Exactly,
be
yes.
saying, dude, we had him for 8. What do we do now?
Yeah.
Can you shoot some reel?
Yeah.
It'll be there.
But it was superb, and then you have these newcomers who behave this way and you're like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Please give me a good reason why this should happen.
So I have a story about Amir. We were shooting the Dream 11 Three Idiots campaign, the first one, with Amir there. And, first time we were trying little slightly braver things and all, right? And on set, I had an idea for a 10-seconder, just where, Amir says to Bumrah that, यार भाई ध्यान से बॉल डालियो मैं बड़े-बड़े हिट्स मारता हूँ. And Bumrah says इतने बड़े हिट्स मारते हो तो यार लाल सिंह चड्ढा का क्या?
Yeah.
So ये चीज सेट पे आया लेकिन I was shit scared to tell Amir anything, right? So I went via Nitesh. So Nitesh sir, आप तो काम किए हो Amir के साथ, आप बोलोगे. Nitesh looked me in the eye. He said, "Dude, ये तो साथ में करना पड़ेगा. ये तो मैं भी नहीं रिस्क ले सकता." And I shit you not, I went there and you guys all know, right? Amir smokes a pipe and he's sitting there. Nitesh said, "Adarsh का idea, first only." Adarsh बता. So I told him this and Amir says, "तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ." बोले, "हाँ सर, आप पहले बोल रहे हो लेकिन बुमराह जवाब दे रहा है." हाँ मस्त है करते हैं. Now, throughout the day, so we had not, Dream 11 shoots were planned to perfection, right? Like, you have only time to do 3 takes per shot. Throughout the day, Amir is asking, saying, वो वाला film कब shoot कर रहा है? And somehow we managed to find that little, in the permutation combination that Bumrah is also there and Amir is on set, managed to find it. Bumrah disagrees to do the film. Bumrah is telling, like, भाई मैं national television पे ये सब नहीं बोल सकता. And I shit you not, Amir, when he asked us, when we shooting that, and we said, sir, actually we're not shooting that because Bumrah is not comfortable saying this. किधर है वो? He went to Bumrah in front of everyone saying, अबे मस्त है यार, मजा आएगा, करते ना. मेरे आगे बोलना, पीठ पीछे मत बोलना. हाँ, and he shot the film. Like Bumrah, he convinced Bumrah to shoot that.
No, he's good.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
Shahrukh, Amir,
Wow.
they're both are.
Yeah.
They're not
Very,
insecure as
yeah.
actors.
No.
Even Alia is,
Absolutely.
these
Yeah,
all
Alia's
four
nice.
guys
Yeah,
also,
Alia's professional.
they're really good. Like you
Yeah,
love
true.
working with them. Work ethics are really good.
Okay, so we will now move on to some personal questions. When I say personal means, directed personally, not personal. Zuleika, this one is for you. Okay, so this is a pet peeve that I have, right? Where there is a genre of comedy that someone cracks, and then that genre is replicated by, let's say, other 15 directors, and everyone's like, a worse version of the first. It's a worse copy, right? As a person who, let's say, has done some stellar comedy work, according to you, what is it that upcoming directors or upcoming, or let's say creatives, you've read a lot more scripts than you've obviously produced, right? What do you think that creatives or upcoming directors get wrong about humor? Like being on those sets, what is your tip that we should follow?
For upcoming directors, I feel like somewhere along the way they look at aping existing work, especially with humor. It's very important for them to find their own voice, and unfortunately, it's something that they have to find a little bit before they get the experience that helps them strengthen it. They have to have some sort of an idea that this is a space where I'm more comfortable exploring, or this is a kind of style, something. But it can't be that I'm going to ape someone's style. And I see that a lot with upcoming directors, especially with humor.
Yeah, like Sriram used to say this, yeah. Sriram used to get very annoyed when directors were over-referencing, right? Like he'll say, ठीक है, मतलब एक reference देख लिया, दो reference देख लिया. If I have a reference for everything, then what is your reference? Right? Like, what are you doing? And he used to tell us as creative people, like, create work that becomes a reference, man. Don't create work from
I
references.
hate references.
Great, good on you.
Hate.
But
I
that's so
hate
interesting. Until you pointed it out, I hadn't realized that she's produced so much humor between Ryan and Rahul. It's all,
Yeah.
Yeah. But they both have such different styles.
Yeah.
And that is also because they both are two different personalities. They're like two very different individuals. I mean, and that will reflect in anyone's work.
Yeah. Hemant, what about you?
As
In terms of humor, like what is your tip for upcoming directors or creative people who are writing? Because see, also the thing is, like, when you have 20 seconds, which is what necessarily most of us have, right? Invariably, nobody is talking emotion in 20 seconds anymore. Very rarely do you find it. It is always, there's going to be a two-line setup, a third-line joke, and Skrillex music in the end, and it'll become an ad. So I'm always forever, trying to figure out what is the new genre, who is cracking something new. Have you read something that could be like, there was a Prasoon kind of humor, then there was Anayappa kind of humor, there was Rajesh Krishnan along the way, right? What do you see this go to? Like, is there something you've read along the way? Do you like somebody's work specifically?
No, I like what these guys do. I like a lot of like new guys, what they are bringing onto the table. Especially the Zepto work, which keeps coming every 3-4 days. There is a new commercial. So I personally feel whoever is doing whatever they are doing, whatever they are doing, they have to do it with all the honesty. If you're giving me a 20-second, think about a 20-second. Think about the kind of commercial, kind of genre you want the commercial to be. And I personally feel like this is how I have learned, like during the course of making films, as same with producing and directing, every job made me something better, and I learned. So would not expect immediately with new directors. I think they will find their way within 2, 3, 4 years. Like when I started directing, I was done with producing within 5, 6 years, because I thought, oh yeah, I mean, what can I produce? Because there was team, people are doing like, we have everything, I was just going and visiting sets. So when I started directing, third commercial or fourth commercial, I hated my job. I said, shit, man, I should go back to producing. I'm good in that. But I walked into the presentation room in Delhi, and I felt that it was shit I made. And the client loved the film to the extent that he called the whole office and they are clapping. And then I felt maybe I'm doing something right. I should stay at it and try more. So I feel that it's like a journey. You will find your way. You will find your voice. Maybe sometimes you will copy, sometimes you will refer, but you will find your way. But if you're not good at it, immediately get out of it. Do something else.
No, I agree when you say it's a journey, absolutely. But I'm saying something like humor, I feel like it's very easy to ape if you don't already identify some sort of a.
No, that's why I said, you have to be honest to yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot keep copying. You have to, somewhere you have to identify. That's what is very important. That's what I feel.
Yeah. I mean, you've answered my question to you. I was going to ask you a question about, the switch from production to direction, and do you keep switching back to production while you're directing?
As in, like from when we started Chrome Pictures, as in, I never wanted to be part of the Chrome Pictures. Like when Amit and Ali actually started the company. The company was called Silver Screen, and me and Amit are childhood friends. Like everyone knows, we are together since like we were 5 years old, and I love him more than anything. So
I also heard off camera that you were a CA.
No. As in, I was pursuing CA. I was going for inter exam, and I was standing outside my very humble house in Delhi in my pajama and banyan. And one day, Amit comes and he says, "Ki, ki Bhandari maza aayega yaar." I was doing my college while Amit was, actually I'm in this industry because of Amit. Because Amit wanted to be like the next Shah Rukh Khan or whatever, and we used to bunk schools to go and give his photographs, and like he had those photographs like this, standing in the park near the tree, and we felt that he's good, yeah, he's hero, he'll kill it.
And
We
then he
were
wanted
fooled
to
also.
be an actor.
Yeah, Amit wanted to be an actor. We were also fooled by someone, like some modeling agency said, ki, you are Mr. India, brother. sorry, I'm.
No. Don't worry.
You know, so he said, you are Mr. India, and me and Amit are looking at each other, ki boss, Mr. Delhi. He said, next week you will be Mr. Delhi. If you would have come 3 days back, you were Mr. Delhi. We are doing an event. So he said, please come there. And we go to that event, big event, and you know, we are already taken by, he said, 25,000, you will be Mr. Delhi next year. So by chance, some photographer was there, Amit's father's friend, and he said, ki, sab bogus hai, go to the same office after 2 days, there will be nothing. Actually, there was nothing. It was an office on rent for a week. So, and then Amit joined Pradeep Sarkar, and you know, he worked with him for 3 years, and I was studying, doing my graduation. And every day I used to, like, if I'm going to, from Lajpat Nagar, I'm going to Chandni Chowk and coming back after buying some ghar ka saman by evening, Amit has gone to Bombay, Bangalore and back. So it was very fascinating for me what lifestyle he's going. So I was enamored by it. While I was doing my studies and all, I was preparing for CA. Amit one fine day says कि तू भी आ जा यार मजा आएगा इसमें. मैं दादा से बात करता हूँ. I was waiting for something like this. I said मैं भी आऊँगा यार हाँ मुझे भी बात कर ले. Then when I joined Dada, Sujit Da. Sujit Da was opening his company, so I started working with Sujit Da. So I always wanted to be a director. Like when I was assisting Sujit Da, did everything under him, production, post-production, casting, music, or jo bhi, costume. So when we started they started the company, he said, "Tu aaja Bhandari, saath mein kaam karenge." I said, for me, you are most important. Money will come. You know, egos will come. We can't do this. So 6 months, I stood behind to help. But then they never found a producer. So finally, he emotionally blackmailed me and wrote me in. And I thank him for that, you know, because he actually helped me in where I am, you know, today. So when we started producing, I loved it because, you know, nobody gave me chance before that. When I was working with my last company, nobody gave me production also to do independently. Here I got everything to do myself and made better money. But then, you know, over a period of time, because there was a creative thing, I kept going back to, I want to direct. And finally,
Thank
2011.
you, Amit, for that.
Yeah.
I had
And
personal
Alia.
questions. And Alia.
And you know, one anecdote. My name is Hemant Bhandari, but Alia said, Hemant, अगर तेरे नाम का कार्ड हम किसी एजेंसी को उस टाइम देंगे ना, they'll say कि जनरल स्टोर खोला है. She literally changed my name from Hemant Bhandari to Hemant Jain. What? Yeah, and we started drawing pictures I had because I'm a Jain. So she said, that is cool, Hemant, we'll do that.
First time I've heard the surname Jain being referred to as cool.
She said, nobody will know what is Jain, you just say Jain.
So I had personal questions for all you guys, but I think we've covered some of the personal questions that I had for you guys along the way with those topics, right? So we'll go across around the table and let's think about this for 30 seconds. In one sentence, tell us what does good advertising demand from a producer today? According to you, what is, in one sentence, encapsulate what is the producer's role to make a good ad?
I would say make sure that you get the right crew for the script so that your director can perform the best. So you're giving a right platform for the good film to happen. So this is all I have in my control. Make sure you get the right crew, right creative crew. That's fine. Yeah.
I think it's about being accessible to your director and to the agency involved. Like it's your availability, your accessibility, and your ability to be, you know, creatively inclined. Despite the fact that you're a producer, I don't think that there's really a distinction there. You have to think creatively, irrespective. You know, so I think it's a combination of those things that could really push the ante.
Hemant?
I would say think like a director. Producing so you will do, think like a director.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I always tell my producers, don't think like a producer, think like a director. Job will become easy.
Great answer.
I tend to agree. But I also think as a producer, you have to be brave and unafraid. You have to be totally unafraid to take risks and to, you know, give more than you're getting. And once you find that, then I think it just becomes very easy.
3 words, 1 punctuation mark. Get shit done! Exclamation mark.
Lovely. Zulaga?
I think not be afraid to say no. whether it's to the director, to the agency, client, any technician, any crew member. We as producers are always in very awkward situations where many times possibly shy away from saying no.
Yeah, good answer.
I often say this to my team, and just going back to the whole idea of a producers collective, right? I feel that producers sometimes don't have an identity that is very specific, right? Every time you go into a room, they say director is the captain of the ship.
That's true.
Then producer karta kya hai, right? He's on. So I extended that. I said director, the captain of the ship, producers, the anchor. And then I said, if I refer back to that, I think that the one trait that all of us need to have is be solution agents. If you're not hungry for solution, and that doesn't, it could be in anything, right? Because you're going to face turbulent times as a producer, and the producer is going to solve for the director. So be a solution agent.
Yeah.
See, this is what I practice, taking 100% ownership of every problem happens, even if it is a script. It's my responsibility. Even if somebody get hurt, it's me. And of course, additional, I could say that don't micromanage people, delegate. If they couldn't do, just maybe guide them. Then also I say that I didn't provide you enough guidance. But for me, every day, I am responsible for all the bad is happening. Good is everyone, but bad is my ownership every time, basically.
Good outlook. That's great advice for young producers. Starting off the 701 production house in this country. Right? Last couple of questions before we end this lovely conversation. See, usually these roundtables, right? I mean, we have anecdotes, we have things, but as like some of us were saying earlier, like, they turn into crib sessions because, like, put a camera on someone and, people relax a little later and it just, yeah, this is the problem with the industry, this is the problem with production, this is the problem with agencies, all of that, right? What is the one, we've always discussed problems. What is the one tangible advice you have for anyone in this, right? Whether it's an agency, whether it's a production house, whether it's creative directors, just to turn this industry around. And the reason why I ask this is, forever, this is an industry that is being told by every quarter, whether it's the AI, evangelists, whether it is like, in earlier days, it was media telling us this, right? The fact that advertising is dying. Everyone, like, any thought piece on LinkedIn will tell you advertising is dying. But instead of constantly telling us that this is dead or this is dying, what can we do to make this better? So just across the table, and maybe we can keep this free flowing. What is the one piece of advice you have here? What can we do tangibly to make things better?
At a personal level, I would say that especially in the face of AI, the most important thing you can do is hone your point of view, your perspective, what makes you, referring also to that brand of humor, etc. we were talking about. It was always important, but now it's even more important. That's the only thing that's going to differentiate you, whether you're a creative, a director, a producer, anyone. And sometimes it takes a lot of conscious self-reflection to bring it out because you're just operating on autopilot, but it's worth doing that now, and you have a few months, maybe a year or two before you do that. But if you haven't done it by then, it may be too late.
Yep. Anyone else?
See, I want to say that protect the talent and invest on them and build them. It will come back again. Don't manage them, regulate them, but don't manage them. But protecting talent is very important because they're very vulnerable. They're not saying it, but they can't deal with all this world because the artist has to rebel with craft discipline. Then only that industry will survive. Otherwise, he will just confirm what has been done already.
Yep.
I think be limitless, right? I don't think that you can say that I only do this anymore. I think you need to do far more and be open to newer things because of that, right? And a lot of directors I see, right? You're a very, very good director, but there's far more to you in that directorial approach. You're a very good producer and you can do far more. Don't let doors and walls close in on you.
Totally.
I feel that agencies used to have this practice of portfolio night where young creative, young directors could come and showcase their work. I think initiatives like that, like, I mean, I'm a socialist, basically. So for me, everything is a solution where you accumulate wealth on behalf of people and use it for the people. So I often have this thought of, you know, all of us as an industry or, you know, individual 700 production houses getting together and pooling some resources and putting them aside for young talent to hone them, to kind of give them an opportunity to make some experimental films or, you know, experimental ideas, which then take a life of their own and, you know, expand their careers. But
That's a good idea because I know that portfolio night still happens. So this year, I think it was in DDB, Mudra X DDB.
Sorry, what's that?
Don't talk about the dead. So DDB did that, and interestingly, usually portfolio night used to be creative, right? Like
Yeah.
It used to be copywriters and art directors. This year they did that with planners, for
Yeah.
instance, strategists, right? But yeah, if you're listening, this is a good idea. You know, maybe do portfolio night or reel night with directors. Where,
with directors, I think that's,
yeah,
we really need
and
it.
it really helps because I'll be honest with you, and maybe I'm using this platform to apologize to the 18,000 people whom I have not replied to. But we get as creative directors, we get messages like, I have started so and so production house, I have this director, and it's even more complicated because we have a production house of our own, right? And
Yeah.
there's a conflict of interest there, like all of that, right? And we find it quite, between advertising and life, we find it quite inundating to, constantly reply, constantly, if you say we don't have something right now, in 15 days, again, a question will come. You also have your own depression, whether you're doing enough work in the first place to satiate so many people, right? But this, I think, is a great idea because then it's a platform. It's a platform for, a good amount of creative directors to come and look at work.
Yeah, and it's not just
Totally
for
agree.
creative or directors, it's for cinematographers, it's for writers, it's
Yeah.
for so many across the board talent, because everybody wants to be seen and heard. And
In
they
fact-
just don't get the opportunity.
In
We
fact,
are lucky.
any one of you guys across the table, if you guys want to take this initiative up next year, as a production house, organize this night for DOPs, organize this night for directors, all of that. I'm pretty sure the industry will get behind you. I'm pretty sure the
I
best
mean,
creative
imagine
directors
if
will come.
you could go somewhere and pitch your, pitch yourself and say, if you can give me some opportunity or money or something on a loan to make 3 films for you or whatever. I mean, the structure of it we can figure out. But give me that chance. The place will burst with talent.
Great
And
idea.
that's what we are
It
lacking
is.
right now. We're just not nurturing talent.
Yeah, nice one. I think that, on a slightly micro level, people judge people's reels for what they're seeing, And I think a lot of times it's just like, hey, has this person done similar work before? And there's nothing to say that they can't do something different from what they've already done. The choice that people make, especially agency creatives make, that say they sort of judge it on what they've already seen or they're seeing at this moment. I think that there's a lot of reading between the lines that needs to be done to sort of decide whether this person or ex-director is good for something or not. So I feel like that needs to change a little bit, and you probably expose different people to different kinds of films.
Yeah. Fuck, actually, that's quite interesting because we are quite guilty of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
when we write a film, so many times, like in our corridors only, we say, "Arey yaar, ye to Prasun Pandey type ka film hai, ye to
Correct.
Prakash Verma type ka film hai." When
Correct.
we write it for those genres, right?
Correct.
This is a great thing because also long time back, somebody told me, like, my ex-creative director told me, like, never look at a reel for the work that it is, right? Imagine what the script was and where it got lifted. And this is a let's say, a experience based thing, or just like, if you see enough reels, I think a lot of creative directors need to be taught
Yeah.
how to look at reels.
Yeah.
So yeah, great point on that.
But
And
do
that's
you think
also why
that you
you-
can practice that? Like,
Yeah.
I think as agent, like as much as you interact, I think everyone has that same consciousness, right? But when you're in the middle of work and trying to deliver that film, and that journey you've taken to sell that, and that many times I end up losing work, right? Because you've already thought that this is for X director, and it's so difficult to desell and or cross sell, another director into that vision.
But that's why you have a treatment note.
Yeah, but even then, you've written it because you've always thought ke ex-director ke vision pe hi ye correct hai.
I do think, though, the industry has become better. I mean, I remember literally 15 years ago, I remember an agency CD saying to me, oh, I need to see them have they done films for ACs? I was like, sorry? Like, it's for an AC brand, I need to see. I was like, who's done films for ACs? Maybe like 2-3 people. They literally wanted to see an air conditioning film. I was like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nothing
That
to do with the
still happens.
concept.
But
Yeah.
that still happens.
That still
yeah.
happens.
For a category like that,
That's the-
beauty I can understand, auto I can
No,
understand.
that is the way, chalo,
No, just show me a
specialization. But even in
performance
this,
film. But humor is the biggest performance. I mean, isn't it performance? You
See,
have to.
performance is different because that's a certain directorial skill. But like to show the AC vent, it's about a family. I understand if you're saying family, kids, whatever, you know. It's
Parts of this roundtable has been so depressing for me as a
Yeah, sometimes, like for someone who works in humor, the script is a humor story, but they're asking you, has your director done food work?
Hemant, Ramya.
So I would say make it all about the work. Don't keep, everybody, if the whole team is focused on making a good output, I think it'll help. Keep the egos aside, keep everything. I'm a client, I'm an agency, everything. I'm a director. No. Make it all about
Just
making
about the end product.
About the end product. And yes, along with it, I would say from where I'm coming, don't make it like as you were saying, the yesteryears were all about, hustling, beat late nights and whatnot, all that, make it about, you're drinking all night, come next day morning. No, just keep it about work and keep it simple, be compassionate and do your work. That's what I would say.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Hemant?
Deliver.
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 I think we all, it's doing good, yeah. As in, I personally feel that, like, I miss that, when we started, we used to go meet creatives, they used to meet us, clients used to, listen to what we are saying. Now it's become very structured. This is what we want, this is what you need to deliver. Nobody is, very rarely, like, I think the biggest of the directors are still can do that. Okay, this is my vision, I can do this. So I think somewhere that is stopped. It's come down mainly to just one small presentation treatment note. I think more of meetings, more like I miss that. That's it. I think that is what was creating some great work fast.
What I said
I
at the
think
beginning
magic's
also, just become
created together.
accessible.
Yeah,
Everyone
And
should
I
just
think
become
that magic
accessible.
Kashif,
Together
you
has
said that.
disappeared,
Correct. Like I miss that. That's it. Like I'm seeing that everything has become very structured and हाँ इतना ही है आप कर दो. So
Yeah.
There was a time we went and showed our showreels in person.
correct.
And you met the person and you spoke to the person.
We are talking about AI now.
Yeah. I've not become a cyborg yet.
Ganesh is going to send one robot to
Chat
join.
GPT.
Yeah, I have Chat GPT in my.
No, but from an agency person's perspective, right?
Yeah.
I completely second a lot of what you guys are saying, and I'm just coming to an end here. See, honestly, the resource of money
Yeah.
will either be less, either be more, based on AI. All of these things, money will come and go. I miss the resource of time, right? Sadly, even that is dwindling. And given time, I feel we should, whenever you have the luxury, of time, you have the luxury to meet someone, physically meet someone.
Yeah.
Not on Zoom calls and stuff like that. Physically meet someone, sit, jam, and which is why I also miss the pre-COVID days when, at least from branch offices like Bangalore, we used to come down for 5 days, 10 days, sit with the director, sit on we used to go for grades also.
Yeah.
Right?
I was
Today,
going to say that I miss having agency at the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
only
don't
on
come for
WhatsApp,
post-production
you're saying.
at all now. Huh?
No?
Very rarely.
very rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, now it seems like when you're speaking to someone from the agency, they don't know about the processes at the studio, how much time certain things take,
exactly.
what it means to move from one studio to another, to another, to another machine.
No, not just
they're
that. I'm saying
clueless.
if a writer doesn't come for an offline, he doesn't know what a 20-seconder is.
Yeah.
They don't know what's the difference, why it takes long to stay on that expression. and then say the next dialogue. Which is why they're not writing 20 seconds for 20 seconds.
And then the feedback and music is feel nahi aaya.
Going back to her humor story, humor is not about the dialogue.
Agency come in.
It's about the nuances before and after and during that dialogue.
Yeah.
And because we are not giving that time, we are just focusing on the dialogue. So most of this lands, just what they do really well is actually spend time on all of that, right? They've figured that out. I think everyone needs to do that.
Lovely. So this was a great chat. We had fun. So yeah, and with that, we bring this roundtable to a close. Thank you so much, guys, for your perspective, for being this open about certain things. Don't worry, we will beep out some of the things. We won't beep out some of the things.
No,
Samya.
please.
Right? Like, this roundtable and everything that Good Ads Matter does is actually a celebration to the commitment and the, let's say, the passion and the contribution that this agency, this industry makes. And we used to be pop culture first, hoping that continues. Thank you so much, guys, for your presence. And thank you so much to Good Ads Matter for getting all of us together and making us spend 4 hours doing this. As you can hear
Did we
in
go
my
over
voice
shift?
that I am tired. I love you guys. Thank you so much for a fun conversation. And let's safely say good ads will and continue to matter.
Thank you, Adarsh.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.